News Radio 1120 KPNW. Rain, and more rain. It is coming down. Not going to get that partly cloudy break where all of a sudden the sun comes out, as told by Chris Nation. So you know it's true. 51 degrees from the Widmer Brothers Studios here in Eugene, Springfield. Live, local, the Wake Up Call. All right, so let's get kind of up on the festivities yesterday.
Oh, man.
How did the Ice Cream Social go?
Ice Cream Social went fine. We went to Tom's Paint Pot, and they have, and this is going to sound like a weird thing to key in on, they have the shiniest floors I have ever seen in my life. They glisten. They're just normal, normal
like
linoleum,
tile?
Yeah, tile linoleum floors. But they must wax those things about every other day. Even Tab, she was like, oh my God, these are the shiniest floors I've ever seen. They are. They have, I know, a weird
So did
thing.
they make you eat the ice cream like out in the kitchen or something, or like outside?
No, they pretty much took the ice cream and wandered off with it and said, thanks for bringing it, guys. And we said, why, you're welcome. We'll just be out here.
So, okay, it's not Tom, it's Virgil who was the one that nominated.
Yeah, Virgil nominated. Virgil had
he?
a business meeting that he's like a regional, I think he's the regional lord of the paint pot.
He wasn't even there to break the ice cream?
No, he had to be in Salem for an appointment. So we missed meeting Virgil. So sorry, Virgil. We got to meet Jason, though. Anyway, so shiny floors. Really, really shiny floor. They've got a nice showroom, I have to say. It's pretty.
How was the caramel cone?
Didn't taste it. So
you didn't?
No, I have no idea how it is. I'm assuming awesome because it's
a big stiff arm to the caramel. You not like caramel?
I didn't. They didn't offer any. So that's the way it goes.
So when you say they took the ice cream, they actually took it and walked off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Sometimes you get the sociable crew that, come.
Well, I'm not saying they're unsociable.
Come break ice cream with us.
They
have
were
a seat.
busy.
We'd like to,
they were
thank
busy.
you for bringing us about 15 gallons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they had customers. They had work to do. So
okay,
it's understandable.
That's what I'm saying.
Then we went to Sam's on Wilson. That was fun. So I just want to tell the 15 that it's not just the folks that go through the IRS or folks that have student loans that are getting scammed. Apparently, we have a listener number thief. So Tom 13 showed up and he goes, I was listening the other day, and there was a guy that called in and he said that he was Tom number 13, and he goes, that guy stole my identity. I am Tom 13. I am the original. I have emailed you guys, and that guy, whoever that guy was, he goes, he is a fraud.
I love how they're taking claim of their numbers.
Right. So Tom was
possessing their numbers like it's ID. That's awesome.
Tom was very concerned.
Did you say that we'll get right to it?
I told him
we'll get right down and figure out the fraud.
Patty from the pot party story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Patty, she showed up, which was kind of neat to be able to meet her, put a face to it. Talked a little bit more about the aftermath of said pot party, which was rather humorous. I don't even know if I should.
I think you've met Patty before.
If I did, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, there was some music that came in here from a certain high school.
Oh, okay. No, I don't think I ever met her. I think it was just through email that she. Or maybe she wasn't here. I think she was.
Yeah.
Anyway, she showed up. Also, John, who's a territorial sales manager for Plygem Windows. I learned a lot.
Plygem.
Yeah. He informed me about Windows. And then we had Steve, who was what was it with eWeb? Water. It was like some water control systems administrator over there. I think it was water control system.
Yeah, it sounds important.
Yeah, pretty much. He keeps the water turned on. Chatted with him for a while, and Frank, who works out at Ninkasi, showed up and stuff. The folks at Sam's, by the way, great spread, lots of food they brought out. They got a pretty nice, that's it. It's interesting the different kind of ambiance and atmosphere
between the two
out on Franklin. Definitely that the on Wilson has that whole kind of neighborhood bar, cool neighborhood bar feel to it. It was really, I mean, it was a comfortable place. Everybody sitting around chatting. I mean, it was fun. I had a great time there.
You didn't get that feeling, the comfortable feeling from the Franklin location?
It's a different feeling. It's a different feeling. You know, this has got that more. It feels like that bar has been there for probably 50, 60 years, whereas the one on Franklin is like still has that breaking, you know, trying to get it broke in feel to it. This one out there, it's like a friendly, established neighborhood bar.
Apparently, it is packed during football season.
Well, I can see why. That would be a kind of a place that I would like, if I was going to go out to a bar and sit and watch a game, I would go there for sure.
Oh.
And Widmer definitely, you know, they were all over the place and supplied us with some really cool prizes. Some awesome prize. The Widmer beer sign, I coveted
neon
that.
Sign?
Yeah, I coveted that thing. I coveted
you gave a Widmer neon sign away?
Yeah, it was awesome. So a lot of stuff, but Widmer was definitely, you know, a big thumbs up to them, and also to Sam's out there on Wilson, Sam's Place on Wilson. Great host for a party.
Just off West 11th, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. 2 for 2. Another great. Do we have any idea? Is there a Thirsty Thursday location we can promote? Do we know it's coming up, or are we going to?
I know that we got one coming up next month, and we're still putting together exactly where it's going to be. Okay. I think there's like a couple of different places that are vying. So
gotcha. All right, stand by. It's 11:20 KPNW 638. Morning.
Michelob Ultra is more than a superior light beer. It's taking in all life has to offer, like catching a wave or biking a long trail. And when you're done, you reach for a cold Michelob Ultra. Fewer carbs, fewer calories, more to look forward to. Michelob Ultra. Long live the ultra life. Enjoy responsibly. Michelob Ultra Light Beer, 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams protein, and 0 grams fat per 12-ounce serving. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tired of expensive movie theater popcorn or standing in line or having to drive home after watching the big game at your annoying uncle's house? It sounds like you need to have the folks from TV Specialty in your life. Nobody does TVs like TV Specialty. Think a home theater system is out of the question or out of the budget? Call TV Specialty and see how close you really are. 541-688-5061. It's quality backed by service at TV Specialty. 541-688-5061.
It's opening day, and we're kicking it off in Junction City. This is Shannon Mill, and you're invited to celebrate the start of summer camping season. Test drive any car, truck, or RV, and you'll get a half-price fishing license. This weekend, enjoy a free barbecue lunch with all the fixins. Get behind the wheel and learn to drive and park a motorhome, trailer, or fifth wheel at our free driving school. Guarantees Travel Center is packed with 11,000 square feet of everything you need to hit the road this summer. Tour a massive selection of over 750 motorhomes, trailers, and fifth wheels, all at RV show prices. We have over 200 hard-to-find cars, trucks, and SUVs, perfect for your summer road trips. And you'll never pay any additional dealer markup on every new vehicle on our 3 giant lots. Learn more about opening day and half-price fishing licenses at Guarantee.com. We hope to see you at Guarantee's opening day celebration, just 5 minutes north of the Eugene Airport in Junction City. We don't just sell fun, we guarantee it.
How would you like to make up to $20,000 a month flipping houses with no risk? Hi, my name is Nick Vertucci, and over the last 2 years, my elite team of house flippers have flipped over 800 properties by using my 3-step flipping system that guarantees quick profits. And this year, we plan to double it. I'm growing my team in your area, and I'm looking for help. I have more cash available than deals right now, so I need you. All interested candidates, call now and take an inside peek of my flipping system. I'll rush you you out a free copy of my Fortunes and Flipping CD kit that will show you how easy it is to get in, get out, and get paid immediately flipping houses if you come join my team.
Call 1-800-449-3149 now to get your free flipping kit. Call 800-449-3149 and you'll also get free tickets to a training workshop. That includes a free meal, a smartphone watch, and a USB flash drive loaded with Nick's powerful information as free gifts just for attending. Call 800-449-3149. That's 800-449-3149. Call now.
What happens next happens here on the Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. I can't believe that I forgot Dr. Don showing up. Dr. Don, who's been on the show a number of times, was there last night as well, hanging out. Thanks to Dr. Don, the guy that does the annual Buffalo Barbecue, was there as well, and the ex-wife of Matt Baker from the RG. That was an interesting conversation. Anyway, joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning, we're going to talk changing direction as we always do. We're completely veering off course. And it has to do with Donald Trump. And, you know, a lot of talk has been made about what Trump would be like as a president. And I think it's a worthwhile question to ask how world leaders view Donald Trump. To talk a little bit about that, political analyst, former White House political director, Matt Schlapp, joining us once again on the Wake Up Call. Matt, appreciate you being on the show. So,
great to be with you.
I think this is one of those things that's sort of like the alternate history stories where, okay, all of a sudden the Nazis have won the war, now what happens? And I always look at this and go, when we have these kind of conversations, how can we actually know how, for instance, let's say, the Chinese would view a President Trump? How would they?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, dictators, strongmen, communists, they're looking at this situation where we could have a leader who they fear might do things that other presidents don't easily contemplate. I don't know. I'm sure it keeps them up at night, but it doesn't bother me. I like the fact that the terrorists might be scared to death over the fact that Trump might take it to them. I think the American people like the fact that those folks might be worried.
Well, okay, so China. Let's talk about China in particular, because there's so many different issues about China. You have economic issues. You have kind of this world dominance, foreign military policy dealing with China. I mean, for instance, North Korea. You've got all these different things. I mean, what do you think the Chinese right now, as they look at this, what do you think the relationship between China and Trump would be? I mean, that to me just seems like it would be a very weird set of circumstances.
Look, I think there's a chance that when it comes to these folks like China or Russia, that the relationship could actually improve, because I actually don't think they respect our president as much as they should. I think that they believe that they can do what they want, by and large. And I actually think when they fear an American president, they behave better.
Do you believe what I believe, and that is, and this is going back very early in the Obama administration, that Russia's incursion into Georgia was essentially kind of like a little test to see exactly what the new president was going to be like and what the new president was going to do. And when essentially Obama sort of threw up his hands and said, I'm giving you a good firm talking to and wagging my finger at you, now I'm going to go back over here, that they went, okay, now we're going to do what we want to do.
Look, we see. Yes, I do. I think that there's a lot of truth to that. I think we have seen this in the past. We saw this with Kennedy and Khrushchev, where Khrushchev saw Kennedy as weak in their first meeting, and it led him to be more adventurous and more problematic on the global stage. We saw this with Truman when he took over from FDR, and Joe Stalin wanted little to do with him. He just thought he wasn't a serious leader, and it has consequences. So I think it's good when the American president is respected. Now, maybe that doesn't mean we want to put a crazy person in the office, and I don't think Donald Trump is a crazy person, but I'm not trying to say that we want to take this to its extreme. We still want a president who could be a diplomat, but we want a president who's strong, and when we have presidents who are weak, dangerous things can happen.
So who do you think that, for instance, and again, this is just, one of those kind of a hypothetical question, but which of the presidential candidates, Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, Cruz, Trump, Kasich, which one do you think that the Chinese and and Putin would most like to see as president of the United States for their own benefit?
I think they'd probably like to see the person who they feel would leave them alone the most, and maybe the person who would just go along with the status quo. And I think the person who's most likely appropriates the status quo is Hillary Clinton. She's had a lot to do with
the status quo.
I think the status quo is what we've seen for Barack Obama over the last 7 years, which is dictators are appeased. We apologize for the years when America has been strong on the global stage, and where we will sign agreements even if they're not in America's best interest, because we believe that there are strategic concerns that trump, our economic concerns. And I think Hillary Clinton is someone they probably feel like they know and can do business with.
What about Cruz? Let's talk about Cruz for a second. How do you think that Cruz and, say, a Putin would deal with each other?
I would assume that Putin would assume that Ted Cruz is a young man, and he would be able to have his way with him. And I know Ted Cruz, and I think Putin would be wrong to think that Ted Cruz is a very strong and principled person, leader, intellect. And I think what you will find, whether it's Trump or Cruz, is that I think that these Republican presidents are going to really project the concepts that have succeeded in the past, like peace through strength, having a military that's second to none. But because it's so strong, people don't want to take us on, and our president doesn't have to use it. I think when it comes to these relationships, they will understand that we will no longer assume that the American economy is so strong that it can withstand, paying for everything and shedding all of our manufacturing jobs. I think those two things are going to stop. I think if we're going to take care of global security, I think there has to be a lot more burden sharing on the finances. Don't you think that's the message that we're hearing loud and clear from the American people?
Matt Schlapp joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. It's News Radio 1120 KPNW. I'm going to just kind of change direction on you a little bit, Matt. Matt, by the way, a former White House political director. He's also a political analyst now. You mentioned that you knew or you know Ted Cruz. This reputation that he has, and I'm going to be mild about it, where supposedly he is a jerk. How much of that is just media fabrication, and how much of that is actual truth?
Well, so many things in politics are the opposite as what they seem. When I worked for President Bush, the assumption was that President Bush was kind of a fun frat party guy, and that Dick Cheney was a real mean guy. And
yeah.
You wouldn't want to really deal with Dick Cheney. You'd rather deal with George Bush. The opposite was true, actually. In meetings, anyway, George Bush, I used to say meetings with George Bush was a contact sport. He was tough. He was fair. It was an honor to be sitting there in the Oval Office, but he was tough, and he'd let you have it when you were wrong. Dick Cheney was a sweetheart of a guy to deal with. He couldn't have been more polite and kind and listen, and he hardly ever yelled at you. So in politics, things are different. So people usually assume, they look at the press that Ted Cruz has gotten, and they say, my God, what a jerk. I bet he's just not even polite. He's one of the most charming, engaging people when you meet him. If you have your kids with you, he'll be sweet to your kids. He'll get down on their level and really engage with them. He is a very, very likable guy.
All right. Matt, I appreciate you joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. It is 6:50 News Radio, 1120 KPNW.
Jerry, Shop Talk.
Hi, I'm calling from my kitchen.
Uh-huh.
And I'm in the living room.
Okay.
And we're wondering if you can help us find new flooring for here.
Yes.
That matches what's in here?
Most likely. We have a huge selection. From luxury vinyl to all types of tile, to carpet, to hardwood, to laminates.
Wow.
Perfect.
All at guaranteed low prices.
Cool.
Now we're in the car.
See you in a few minutes.
Awesome. Floor it.
Better head for Jerry's.
Get instant cash back at Discount Windows.
Discount Windows is working with Energy Trust of Oregon to help you reduce energy costs and improve the comfort of your home.
Don't wait 6 to 8 weeks for a check. Make your project more affordable right now with instant savings.
We've handed out over $20,000 in instant cash incentives in just 5 months. Instant savings at Discount Windows.
Highway 99 in Junction City.
Open 7 days a week.
Instant cash incentives applies to windows installed by Discount Windows. TCP 180018.
Well, it could be one of those life-changing events. And, you know, if you're one of those folks that kind of sits on the cusp all the time between just barely able to get by day to day financially, and then all of a sudden something major happens and you're like, how am I even going to cope with this? Well, a car breaking down can do that. Maybe you've had issues, too, with financial loans that have gone bad. Maybe medical bills have buried you, student loans and the like, and you're like, I can't deal with this. My credit's already not good. Now what do I do? Guarantee Discount Chevrolet has the Good People, Bad Credit program, and it's really simple. They'll help you if you're one of those folks that's hardworking, you've got a job, you go to work every day. They're going to help you get into a car within 48 hours or less. They'll help you get your credit back because that's what you're doing. You're rebuilding your credit. And they're going to help you get to work because you've got a brand new used car. It's Guarantee Discount Chevrolet. Call them 541-998-2333.
KPNW is celebrating the upcoming concert series at the Cuthbert Amphitheater by giving away a season pass for 2. One lucky listener will get a pair of tickets to every Cuthbert Amphitheater show. Keep listening to KPNW for your chance to qualify for a season pass for 2 to the Cuthbert Amphitheater Concert Series 2016.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. People with poor credit get some interesting offers. Take Plain Green, for instance. This is a short-term lender that will make you a quick loan for up to $1,000, payable in installments over 6 to 10 months, at an APR between 360 and 380%. The pitch is it's up to 40% cheaper than a payday loan that's due in 2 weeks. The fine print is quite straightforward, starting with, please note, this is an expensive form of credit and is designed for short-term emergency borrowing, not as a solution for long-term problems. Fair enough. I just wish the print was bigger. Here's the nugget. Payday loans and the Plain Greens of the world are legitimate tools for those with limited financial choices. As long as the terms are fully disclosed in plain English, do-gooders with high credit scores who would put them out of business because of the APR are way off base. What might give me pause about people using Plain Green is that it's not exactly in the United States. As it also discloses in the fine print, Plain Green is a tribal lending entity located on the Chippewa Cree's Rocky Boy, Montana Indian Reservation, a sovereign nation located within the United States. U.S. laws don't apply on Indian reservations. Exactly what that might mean in a dispute with Plain Green, I have no idea. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
Hey, there's my son.
Hey, Dad.
What's wrong with your voice?
There is nothing wrong with my voice.
Well, it's just sort of.
Hello, Dad.
Susan? Guys, I think it's about time to get in the car and maybe see some green things.
What are these green things you speak of?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman to save money.
We need a new stuntman!
You just need feedthepig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ram Jack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes or you're already out and about, we had a major storm system move in overnight. Even brought in a few isolated thunderstorms late in the evening, as well as fairly heavy showers. Now, if you're headed out now, we've got mostly cloudy skies. Temps right now only in the mid to low 50s thanks to the cloud cover trapping in the heat last night. We do have a few isolated showers off and on and winds out of the southeast at 5 to 10. This afternoon, the core from the system will continue to push through, and that means isolated showers off and on, as well as a chance of thunderstorms this afternoon. About a 90% chance, and we could see as much as a half-inch of rain. Mostly cloudy skies look to continue into the afternoon. The sun may peek out here and there, but for the most part, it's going to be a wet day. Now, highs will be limited only to the mid to low 60s out there thanks to a strong cold front attached to the storm system. It'll continue to blow through the area this afternoon and into the night. Then we'll get a small break before the next storm system arrives Saturday night into your Sunday. Get ready. The next 72 hours look fairly wet. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic Friday.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are little changed in early trading as investors assess the latest earnings reports. Right now, the Dow is up 25 points at 18,008. The S&P 500 is flat at 2092, and the Nasdaq is down 24 points, or 0.5% at 4922. Shares of Google parent Alphabet are moving lower in pre-market trading, down about 4% following the company's latest quarterly results, and Starbucks is down about 3% here early on. Investors wanted to see something more from those companies. McDonald's is higher this morning. The fast food giant's latest results beat estimates, evidence that a turnaround plan is starting to pay off. Shares of McDonald's are up 0.5%. And we're seeing crude higher. Right now it's up 1.25% at $43.74 a barrel. And again, the Dow up 20 points at 18,003. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
You know, some very high-ranking Democrats are not feeling the burn, not even close. When drive-by media types asked Bernie Sanders to explain Hillary Clinton's victories in the South, Bernie dissed the region. He called the South a conservative region, out of touch with the way the rest of the country thinks. Bernie has also criticized the way Democrats scheduled their primaries, loading so many southern states near the beginning of the cycle. Now, his response did not raise any eyebrows in a drive-by media. They basically agree with him. But Bernie did hurt the feelings of Southern Democrats. This week, the Democrat Party chairs of South Carolina, Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi wrote a Dear Bernie complaint letter. After half-heartedly praising Bernie for bringing a bunch of new young voters into their aging, decrepit party, these Southern Democrats blasted Sanders for the way he's characterized the South. In so many words, they called him a racist, accusing him of minimizing the voices of a key voting bloc of consistent Democrat Party voters, African Americans. And it didn't end there. The Democrats lectured Bernie on the importance of diversity and praised Hillary Clinton for getting it right. So Bernie, it's time to mend fences. You got to show Southern Democrats that you're not a racist. You need to visit the South and tell everybody you love hot sauce and carry it with you everywhere. And if they accuse you of pandering to black people, just ask them, is it working? Say, folks, one of the largest and most profitable fields in business today is corporate training, executive coaching, and speaking. It has become an $11 billion annual industry. Now, if you've been thinking of entering this exploding corporate training market, you need to become certified by the John Maxwell team. I have seen and heard success stories of people who become certified Maxwell corporate trainers, executive coaches, and speakers, and I am impressed. Maxwell is the global authority. They've been at this for more than 40 years. Now, when you become Maxwell certified, you'll be able to profit from this booming business. The fastest growing, largest certification program in the world, the John Maxwell team, has been certifying corporate trainers, executive coaches, and speakers for years, all over the world. Become a Maxwell certified corporate trainer, executive coach, and speaker. Visit johnmaxwellradio.com now for a special free gift. That's johnmaxwellradio.com or dial 1-8.
We report, you decide. This is News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield, USA.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. His fans still can't believe he's gone.
No one can do a slow song like Prince.
Fans held late-night dance parties. From New York City to L.A., there's a growing memorial in Minnesota.
Hundreds of Prince fans showing up, leaving behind balloons and flowers and cards, almost all of it in his signature purple color. As the sun was coming up, people were already here, leaving behind little tokens of their appreciation.
Fox's Matt Finn in suburban Minneapolis.
Here is, how did Prince die? There are many reports saying he suffered from the flu in recent weeks, but that was never independently confirmed, and it was always questioned.
There's an autopsy today to determine why Prince died. He was found unresponsive in an elevator yesterday. After lunching with the Queen, President Obama is about to talk politics with Britain's Prime Minister. Fox's Simon Owen, live in London.
Dave, the President heading to David Cameron's office at 10 Downing Street for the first time in nearly 5 years. The two leaders meeting for talks, then holding a news conference, and that's where President Obama is expected to speak up in favour of Britain's continued membership of the European Union, urging Britons to vote to stay when a referendum is held here in 2 months' time. The endorsement being seen as a big boost for the Prime Minister. Anti-EU campaigners say the President shouldn't be getting involved. Dave?
Simon, it is Earth Day.
The power to build a better world is in your hands.
The head of the UN, Ban Ki-moon, as world leaders sign a climate change deal.
More than 170 countries have signed the Paris Agreement to combat climate change. Each country agreeing to reduce carbon emissions by how much is really up to each country at this point. The targets are not legally binding, though countries must report progress every 5 years.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. The day after Volkswagen worked out an agreement to pay owners of its diesel vehicles compensation, it's taken an $18 million hit to its bank account. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
For the all-new John Deere riding mowers, tractors, and side-by-sides, think Ramsey Waite.
Make tracks to Ramsey Waite for John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers.
There's nothing like a John Deere Gator utility vehicle. From hardworking and trail-ready to the ultimate in work capability. Get into a Gator now at Ramsey Waite.
Don't just dream about it, wait for it!
Ramsey Waite.
Open Monday through Saturday. Franklin Boulevard, Glenwood. Online at RamseyWaite.com.
Shopping for your next grill at Midgley's is easy and convenient. Unlike home improvement stores, a walk across Midgley's doesn't require a relay baton. We know all about grills, too. Just don't ask us about sandpaper or toilet seats. And you don't need to remember where you parked. Our customer-friendly lot is directly behind our store. Get your next grill at Midgley's. We're at 7th and Chambers in Eugene. Midgley's. Anywhere else, and you're just playing with fire. CCB 161946.
On Wall Street, we're seeing some selling the day after a bigger sell-off. Fox Business Network's Nicole Pedalini's live at the New York Stock Exchange.
Dave, we have somewhat of a mixed bag, and it's very telling what we've seen this week. The Dow and the S&P are gaining, the NASDAQ is losing, and that's what we've seen for the week, with the Dow and the S&P up about 0.5% this week. The NASDAQ is to the downside. This moment, the Dow is up 25 points at 18,007. The S&P 500 up 1 point, and we're seeing the NASDAQ down about 32. Some of the movers, the airlines, are all to the downside. American Airlines profits continue to benefit from lower fuel prices, but revenue was hurt by weakness in Latin America. All the airlines are lower. Starbucks is down 4%, Microsoft losing about 7%, and then you also have Alphabet, which is Google's Alphabet, down about 5%, all after their quarterly numbers. Dave.
Thank you, Nicole. The price of oil has been up a little bit today, close to $44 a barrel, as gas rises slightly. AAA's national average for regular is now back over to $11 a gallon. Some Sears stores and some Kmarts are going away.
Sears has been dealing with weak sales, trying to compete with Walmart and online shopping. Now it's going to close 68 Kmart stores by mid-September and 10 Sears stores in late July. Sears says it decided which stores to close based on how each location was performing and when leases expire. Ginny Cosola, Fox News.
A no-hitter in baseball. It's Jake Arrieta's second in 8 months, leading the Cubs.
I feel like I have a good chance to win every time I take the mound.
Arrieta shut out the Cincinnati Reds in a 16-0 blowout. Chicago is now 12-4. That's the best record in baseball. In the NBA playoffs, a last-second shot gives the Rockets a win over the Warriors. The Thunder and Raptors also won. In hockey, the Tampa Bay Lightning advanced, knocking out the Detroit Red Wings. The Blackhawks stayed alive. The defending champs avoid elimination, beating the Blues in double overtime. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
Hey, good morning, 11:20 KPNW, the wake-up call on this Friday, April 22nd.
2016. Rain in the forecast, pretty much going to be off and on throughout the weekend, so just be ready for that. Some partly cloudy conditions with temperatures not really getting all that. I mean, we pretty much had a good last weekend. So if you've been looking for an excuse or two to get some stuff indoors done, maybe, or watch a movie, maybe this is the weekend to accomplish said projects. By the way, 541-485-KPNW. The telephone number is in here, 1120-KPNW at gmail.com if you have an inquiry or a question for John Cruz, host of Northwestern Outdoors. Going to chat with him about 740, about indoor activity, outdoor, everything that's going on that you need to know about, and then, of course, what's on his show coming up this weekend. Also, finally hooking up with the entrepreneur. He's been he's flown jets, black belt in karate, a flight instructor. He owned and ran a business at the age of 24, talking about cell phones and devices and maybe the fact that kids need to get outside, even in a day like today.
Kids need to get outside?
Get some stuff done. Get some I don't know. Just get out from behind the device. Maybe the parents need to start. We'll have that discussion.
Give them a stick. Just send your children outside, give them a stick, and say, here, entertain yourself.
How many times, how many hours do you think you and I combined sticks and rocks? I'm also a big rock fan.
Dirt clods. Dirt clod fights.
I'll put that in there as
awesome.
well. Things that didn't cost a whole bunch of money.
Maybe that's what we need to do. It's a little bonding thing. We just need to go out and have a dirt clod fight.
I can huck a pretty good dirt clod. I don't think you want to do that.
Dirt clods.
All right.
Highly underrated as a toy.
Yeah, I don't know that it's ever been nominated or
that's
Toy Hall of Fame.
Right. Next time we contact the Toy Hall of Fame, we need to nominate dirt clods. I'm serious.
No.
Dirt clods.
I think I'm with you.
Yeah.
On that one.
All right, we'll have these stories coming up in just a couple of minutes. Eugene police looking for a couple of suspects in what they're referring to as a violent robbery. We'll have the details there. We'll also take a look at 3 local area schools that get a big thumbs up from U.S. News and World Reports as being some of the best schools in Oregon. And they're right here in your own backyard. We'll tell you who they are. We'll take a look at those stories and more here on News Radio 1120 KPNW, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones where a bacon burrito is one of those events. Anyway, news coming up in a matter of moments. 7:08 News Radio 1120 KPNW.
A tasty meal can make your day. A solid breakfast puts a good spin on things at the beginning of the day. A great meal in the evening can usually salvage a lousy day. Burrito Amigos can definitely cover the bases and be first in rotation or back cleanup. Fast and hot, Burrito Amigos breakfast burritos are fresh and tasty. You choose the meat. The bacon burritos have 2 types of bacon. The machaca burritos are made from certified black Angus. Or get tasty and zesty chorizo, link sausage, huevos ranchero made with green salsa, or go meatless. On the back end of the day, let Burrito Amigos do the cooking while you enjoy other great items off the menu like quesadillas, tostadas, tamales, wet burritos, even something more unique like lengua burritos or Mexican cheesesteak burritos. Let Burrito Amigos be the beginning of a great day or the salvation to a bad one. Smiles all around from Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones in Eugene and Springfield. I'm Bill London, and I approve all the breakfast burritos and about half of the rest of the menu. The other half I haven't eaten yet.
If you're thinking about a new RV or an RV upgrade, don't make a decision without seeing what the RV Corral can do for you. At the RV Corral, serving you is at the top of their list. It all starts with their newly expanding award-winning service and parts department. Are you looking to sell or consign your RV? The RV Corral will buy your RV for cash or free consignment. High trade-in allowance too. With local owners for 28 years and all local employees, the RV Corral will be there to help you make your RV dreams come true. Easy to find on Highway 99, 1 mile south of Belline. Buy anywhere else, you'll pay too much. Sherman Brothers Trucking is looking for an experienced lowboy driver to drive regionally. Great benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and paid vacation. They're also looking for mechanics at their Harrisburg operation. Sherman Brothers has been family-owned since 1969 and offers a great work environment. Sherman Brothers prides themselves on the quality of their employees and the service the company provides. Excellent training and quality management will help you reach your goals. Check out ShermanTrucking.com for more details or call 800-457-1459 today. Sherman Brothers Trucking.
Now, this morning's wake-up call with the latest news from the Northwest and your neighborhood. On News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. This would be a good place to go on a rainy morning. Here's what's going on. Police looking for a pair of suspects, a man and a woman, accused in what they are referring to as a strong-armed robbery right over near the U of O campus. Police say that the man and the woman tried to shoplift from the Market of Choice on Franklin. Well, an employee saw them, tried to stop them, tried to use physical force, and was overpowered. Police described the man as white, 6'2", in his 20s, blonde hair. The woman, also Caucasian, 5'5", with short, dark, reddish-brown hair. If you have a student loan, beware. Scammers have come up with a new and even more clever way to try and steal your money. Brad Ford has the report.
The scammers are calling people with student loans. They claim to be from the Oregon 529 network at the state treasury. The caller ID backs up their claim.
No matter what it says on the caller ID display, be skeptical.
James Sinks with the state treasurer's office says they're using technology that lets their call display a fake ID. At least one person has lost $1,000. The calls have been reported in Corvallis, Eugene, and Salem. They asked the person to pay with a prepaid card.
The Oregon State Treasury does not collect student loans, nor do we collect taxes.
If you get one of these calls, hang up and call the company that issued your student loan to see whether there's an issue or not. Brad Ford, KPNW.
A Eugene optometrist has been arrested on felony charges in Multnomah County. Eugene police arrested Paul Olsofsky at the Walmart on West 11th. Now, that's where he works. The Multnomah County DA issued the warrant for the arrest on charges of practicing medicine without a license. Officials from Multnomah County say that the charges stem from Olsofsky falsely using the title MD. He is not a licensed MD, at least not with the Oregon Medical Board, and therefore it's a self-imposed title, a title given to ophthalmologists, which he is not. He is a licensed optometrist. Records show that Olsofsky was recently fined by the Oregon Board of Optometry for adding MD after his name on business signs and advertisements over a 5-year period between 2010 and 2015. Obviously, the arrest ups the ante quite a bit. A 36-year-old man has been convicted of murder in the death of a man whose body was found on tidal mudflats near a wastewater treatment plant in Coos Bay. Sean Yamati was also found guilty of conspiracy to tamper with a witness, attempted tampering, and with physical evidence, and abuse of a corpse. The verdict came after a 6-day jury trial. Coos County District Attorney Paul Frazier says the charges related to Yamati beating Martin, dragging his body, burning his clothing. He also conspired with inmates while jailed on the murder charges to encourage, in some ways forcefully, witnesses not to show up for court appearances. Yamati's sentencing set for May 2nd. 3 Lane County high schools have earned a spot on U.S. News & World Report's list of Oregon's best high schools. 32 schools were considered for the list. South Eugene High School ranked 9th. Lowell Junior and Senior High School came in at number 19, and Churchill was ranked number 23 out of 326 public and charter schools in Oregon. The list ranks 35 schools.
You know, rankings are not are pretty arbitrary, and I'm never really buy into it either way. But I agree, it's one of Oregon's best high schools. I think that's pretty cool to get acknowledged for that.
B.J. Blake is the principal of Churchill High School. The rankings are based on test scores, graduation rates, college readiness, reading and math proficiency, overall student performance, along with a number of other factors. Nationwide, South Eugene ranked 1,018 out of 28,561 U.S. public high schools. Lowell ranked 1,674 nationally, and Churchill ranked 2,079. We're 2,079. Blake applauded each school for doing well.
When I look at, I'm a community member as well, a taxpaying community member, and I want all of our schools to do really well. So when South Eugene does well, I cheer. When Sheldon does well, I cheer. When the kids at Echo do well, I cheer. And when North does well, I cheer, you know.
North Eugene also made the list of Oregon's best high schools. They did not, however, rank in the top 35. Well, at a recent Senate Finance Committee hearing, Senator Ron Wyden said the IRS has left U.S. taxpayer data vulnerable because the IRS isn't holding on to its high-ranking tech and IT staff. U of O Associate Professor and creator of the U of O Center for Cybersecurity and Privacy, Juan Lee, agrees with Senator Wyden.
More work and more people are needed in this particular field.
The need is highlighted by over 269 data breaches at the IRS this year that left 11 million Americans' records exposed to hackers. Hackers, Lee says, have the capability of commandeering your car and your phone. iCloud hacks have exposed thousands of celebrity private photos. That's why there is an urgent need for new blood in the cybersecurity ranks. The U of O is bringing top security experts in today for its 6th annual Oregon Cybersecurity Day. They're using the event as a chance to bring in some young minds to recruit and even do a little commiseration at the event.
We also provided travel grants to some students from the remote areas to come to Eugene to attend the event.
This month, Lee won a $500,000 National Science Foundation grant to examine fraud and or attacks on social networks. Video from a police body camera has been released showing the events that led to the fatal shooting of a Seaside police officer and a suspect who was being arrested. Brad Ford has that story.
You have a warrant for your arrest. Get on the ground.
2 Seaside police officers were arresting Philip Ferry, and Ferry refused to cooperate and wouldn't remove his hands from his pocket.
Taser.
So they used a taser to force him to the ground.
612 taser deployed.
When Officer Jason Gooding was attempting to control Ferry, he fired a gun in his pocket, killing Officer Gooding. The second officer shot Ferry. District Attorney Josh Markey says the response was appropriate.
They really tried to do everything that officers are supposed to do.
Ferry died at a hospital. A second man, Jamie Lee Jones, was later arrested and now faces federal firearms charges for giving Ferry the gun. Brad Ford, KPNW.
A federal study has found Oregon's child welfare system is failing at keeping children in state care safe and healthy. The study concluded that Oregon is trending in the wrong direction. It found caseworkers are taking too long to check on allegations of abuse and neglect, with just over half of all child welfare investigations completed on time. The most serious cases require check-ins within 24 hours, but the state met that goal less than 2/3 of the time. The state has also struggled, according to the report, to keep children who've been abused from being harmed again, either in state custody or afterwards, and parents aren't able to see their kids as often as they should under state law, according to the report. At the same time, the study found available foster homes have also declined in the state from 4,229 in 2013 to 3,847 in 2015. Now, the report came just weeks after a $60 million lawsuit claiming neglect and abuse was filed against the Department of Human Services. There was also a department staffing shakeup in 2015 after a Northeast Portland provider was accused of neglecting children and misusing millions of dollars of state money for years. And that was all done with the expressed knowledge of state officials. That scandal prompted legislation to shore up the foster care system. Once again, Oregon government hard at work. 70% of the bills passed by the legislature and signed into law by Governor Brown this year contained what they call an emergency clause. Now, these simple clauses have the legal effect of blocking voters from repealing a bad law through a citizen referendum. It also allows legislators to ram through laws quickly and enact them quickly, their little favorite pet projects, without anybody being able to stop them. One glaring example of this Senate abuse of the emergency clause, Senate Bill 1518. It established a pilot program to, wait for it, create artificial beaver dams. There's an emergency. The No Fake Emergencies Committee is working to put a constitutional amendment on the ballot to end the fake emergencies.
They can still put an emergency clause on a bill if they get 40 votes in the House out of 60 or 20 votes in the Senate out of 30.
Jeff Krupp, what the committee says, you can get a petition online at nofakeemergencies.com.
It's a constitutional amendment, so we have to have 118,000, a little over 118,000 valid Oregon voters' signatures by July 8th.
The organization has a goal to get 150,000 signatures in order to ensure they have enough valid signees. Krupp wouldn't say how many signatures right now they've already gathered. But thank God we're going to have artificial beaver dams. Now that the tax filing deadline has passed, if you get a letter in the mail from the IRS and it's not a refund check, Brad Ford says it's probably not bad news.
Sure, it could be notice of an audit, but in most cases, that's not what the IRS wants to tell you.
Don't panic. Usually a lot of these notices are simply informational.
David Tucker with the IRS says it might be a simple correction and you don't need to do anything. Read through the letter and it'll explain whether you need to take action. Watch out for scams. The IRS will not ask you to pay in a certain way, such as with a prepaid credit card.
That's the technique that scammers use, and the IRS doesn't do that.
If you have any doubts about correspondence you received from the IRS, look up their 800 number and call them to confirm the letter is legitimate. Brad Ford, KPNW.
I'm glad Brad reminded us not to panic. So that means I don't have to sit there and hyperventilate, staring at the envelope and reaching for a bottle of rye. A woman whose body was found in her Lapine home late last week has died of natural causes 5 months ago and remained there ever since in the home where her younger sister had cared for her and was still living, surrounded by garbage, dead and living cats, and foul odors, mainly from her rotting dead sister. An autopsy was performed Monday at the state medical examiner's office. The neighbor had called Sheriff's Dispatch Friday morning to report that a woman now identified as the younger sister, 59-year-old Elizabeth Fries, had fallen on her front porch and needed medical attention. The Lapine Fire Department medics responded and they rendered aid to Fries. During the visit, medics noticed foul odors emanating from the house and deplorable living conditions. They contacted the sheriff's office. At the hospital, Fries admitted what happened after her sister died.
She became fearful, didn't know what to do. Then she started drinking and just left her sister there.
Captain John Bushelot with the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office says detectives got a search warrant for the home to process evidence. From there, they removed the badly decomposed body. They also removed several living cats that were taken to the Humane Society of Central Oregon. The investigation continues, and a report is going to be sent to the DA's office to review and consider if any charges should be filed against Elizabeth Fries, although the sheriff's office says that they believe that Fries has severe mental problems. And the Transportation Security Administration has caved in to Oregon's congressional delegation. They're going to resume security operations at Klamath Falls Airport. Brad Ford has the story.
In 2014, SkyWest pulled its service from the airport in Klamath Falls. The TSA also left, and unless they returned, another airline couldn't take over. Alaska-based Penn Air wants to fly there, but until now, the TSA said no.
It shouldn't have taken a couple acts of Congress to get it done.
Congressman Greg Walden and Senators Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley have fought to get the TSA back.
Glad they've made this decision. Now we can move forward and get air service reestablished in the Klamath Basin.
Walden says that air service is important for residents in the area, businesses that use the flights, and people who work at nearby Kingsley Field, where the military trains F-15 pilots. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
723, this look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Chicago Cubs pitcher Jake Arrieta, if you missed it, top of the hour, struck out 6, walked 4. And didn't allow a hit. His no-no shut out the Cincinnati Reds as the Cubs win 16-zip. The reigning NL Cy Young winner threw another one only a couple months ago, last August. Dodger pitcher Clayton Kershaw, pretty good performance in Atlanta, struck out 10, held the Braves to 1 run, with the Dodgers winning 2-1. Arizona Diamondbacks swept the Giants with a 6-2 win. AL Seattle Mariners outlast the Cleveland Indians in 10 innings, 10-7 the final. Robinson Cano, the 3-run homer in the 10th. College ball, Oregon at UCLA. Pitcher Matt Crook, problems on the mound, and the Oregon bats fairly quiet. Ducks lose to the Bruins in Game 1 of the series, 6-3. And the Oregon softball team, they've been off for almost 2 weeks. Tonight, the softball team is at number 25 Arizona State, who are enduring a 6-game skid. NBA playoffs, Oklahoma City all over the Mavericks in Game 3, 131-102. James Harden nails a jumper with under 3 seconds to go. The Houston Rockets get a home win over Golden State by 1. And Derek Bruce transferring from the OSU basketball team. Wake Up Call Sports brought to you by Max Muscle, where you can always try it before you buy it. On Franklin, across from Market of Choice. News time 7:25.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good Friday morning to you and yours. If you're headed out in the next few minutes, you're already out and about. We are tracking a few light showers off and on from last night's major storm system that blew through the area. Otherwise, we've got mostly cloudy skies. Temps right now are in the mid to low 50s. We also have some light winds out of the southeast at 5 to 10. Now, this afternoon, unlike the last few days, it will not clear up. Mostly cloudy skies will continue out there thanks to the strong cold front in this storm system. Highs will be limited to the mid to low 60s. We've got an 80% chance of showers off and on, as well as a few isolated thunderstorms later this afternoon. Now, most of this energy should start to taper off later tonight, but that break will not last long as the next storm system moves in Saturday night into your Sunday. We're looking at a fairly wet pattern over the next 72 hours, and highs this afternoon, where they're going to be limited to the mid to low 60s because of the strength of the cold front in this same storm system. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
Ramjack leads the way in foundation repair. Protect your investment. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Check out our exceptional online reviews, then choose Ramjack.
CCB 146906.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, sponsored by Eugene's #1 electrical contractor, Builders Electric. One of the country's most creative and dynamic speakers and consultants, Joel Weldon, told one of his groups, "Don't compete, create. Find out what everyone else is doing and then don't do it." What an intriguing idea. Be yourself, be different, do things new and different. Maximize your creative strength along with some things that are strictly you. Remember, you don't have to be better than anyone else, only better than all the days you've already lived. Compete only with yourself to be as creative as you can be. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
This Motivational Minute was brought to you by Builders Electric, providing honest, reliable, and positive contracting throughout the Willamette Valley since 1960. That's Builders Electric, CCB number 4296.
Is it time to sell your house, and do you have work that needs to be done first, but you don't have the money? The bottom line is that when you improve your property, you get more money than other homeowners.
Over the years, Harpole Real Estate with Keller Williams Realty understands this better than any other agent or company because they outsell all other agents. Eric, Jeanette, and their entire team will put up their own money to make sure you get the most out of your house. Their enhanced listing will help clean up, repair, and upgrade your home to get you in the best position to maximize your home sale. Everyone's situation is different, so call for a free no-pressure consultation, 541-286-3030.
Unlike other agents, they offer flexible commissions and an exclusive enhanced listing, and you can cancel at any time. With agents in Lane, Douglas, and Lynn counties, call Harpole Real Estate, 541-286-3030. 541-286-3030, online at harpolehomes.com.
Max Muscle Sports Nutrition is more than a nutrition store. Tom here at Max Muscle. If you want to make changes to your overall health, lose weight, build muscle, or if you just want to feel better, stop by, talk to a certified nutritionist. Max Muscle, Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
The top stories and the most in-depth local coverage.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for your listening and dancing enjoyment.
The Wake Up Call with Holloway and London. News Radio 1120, KPNW.
729. News Radio 1120 KPNW. Robert Bakke is a best-selling author. He was running a multi-million-dollar company by the age of 24. Flew himself into a jet flying career. He's raced NASCAR. His self-published book, Miracles and Spirituality, went to #1. And then we find out that Robert actually grew up in Minneapolis and a huge Prince fan growing up. Reflections on the last 24 hours from you.
Well, hey, good morning to everybody out in Oregon. And yeah, it's been really surprisingly difficult to lose Prince. I think a lot of us had a real, not only sense of mortality, but Prince and I are about the same age. I've kind of kept an eye on him throughout his career. He's transformed himself, as you know, reinvented himself several times and has always been successful. And what people need to understand is, for all of his fame, all of his fortune, he has never caused a problem for anyone. He's not a celebrity who's above the law. He's never been involved in any type of legal disputes around town. He's just been kind of a cherished Minneapolis son, and to lose him today is a real loss.
How visible is he in that community? How much do you see him, or is he pretty reclusive?
He's fairly reclusive. You don't really see much of him. He shows up now and then and will do a show somewhere, but he was more out in the limelight in his younger years. And but I don't think people understand just how much of his music you hear. He writes music for all kinds of different musicians. So people are being touched by his music basically every day. It just might be somebody else, singing that music or playing that music. But, Prince taught us that it is okay to unleash that person that is inside of you, regardless of what anybody else thinks.
Yeah, good point. I think people are reminded of, and it's too bad that it takes someone's death to kind of go back and see their career and see how brilliant they were. But I bet there's more than one or two people that were surprised at what a good guitarist he was. I mean, he's a great musician.
A great guitarist. Oh, he was a spectacular musician. I believe he played 23 different instruments, and he's self-taught on every one of them. So, what a genius that he could listen to a song and then just sit down and play it on an instrument. And we're just going to miss him. But I think that for the shooting star that he was every day of his life, like I said earlier, he's inspired a lot of people to really unleash that person inside of you that maybe other people laugh at. That doesn't mean go weird and be crazy if that's not who you are. But we're all born with different talents and abilities, and we need to let those talents and abilities come out.
So awkwardly, we transform the chat from Prince to you. As far as challenges and issues that you had to circumnavigate, what were yours? Because I don't think there were many, looking at your list of things and accomplishments that you've done in your life.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you look at my life today, it certainly doesn't reflect my life growing up, and I hope there'll be some inspiration in this. But I grew up the skinniest runt in my school. I was that kid that was picked last in gym class every single day. I hit college without an ounce of self-confidence, had no clue why I was there. All I ever wanted to do was race cars, and we could get into that in a few minutes. But to be honest with you, for no particular reason other than frustration, when I was in college, I read the New Testament, which, is the back third of the Bible. I didn't do it for any spiritual awakening. I was just sick and tired of being, told contradictory things by religious people. And little did I know that would be the pivot point in my life. It would send me on a journey, believe it or not, to prove that all things were possible. And I couldn't understand that because I was this skinny little kid with no confidence. I mean, why would I be being led to prove all things were possible? But that's what I've spent my life doing, trying to prove to people that all things are possible. And another element in all this, which we can transition into, is I grew up in a household of alcoholism. So, if I wasn't getting picked on at school, I was living in a fairly hostile, dysfunctional environment. And I don't really want to say anything disrespectful because alcoholism is a terrible addiction and a lot of people suffer from it. But it also taught me what addictive behaviors look like. And I've learned time and again that addictive behaviors do nothing but stop you from achieving your dreams. And that's a good conversation to have.
Talking to Robert Bakke on with the Wake Up Call. Are you a parent?
I am not. I'm in the process of marrying a girl with 2 children, so I'm about to be a step parent, and that'll be a whole new environment for me to be in. But one of the things I'm a little alarmed by, and anybody with a teenager knows this, is this. We have to talk about the subject of device addiction. I don't know what it is that has caused devices to be so addictive. We could watch a television. People have told me, well, the same things happened when television came out. But you can watch a television, shut it off, and go outside and not think twice about your television. But for some reason, the addictive behaviors that everybody has with their devices, they can't stop looking at them that's an addictive behavior pattern. And let me tell you what happens with addictive behavior patterns. I mean, I grew up with this. I've been through all kinds of Al-Anon counseling. I've seen it time and again. Addictive behavior patterns, once they're established, they really don't stop very often. They just transfer. Let me give you an example. You can hope that your alcoholic family member will someday stop drinking. And if they can conquer the alcoholism, that addictive behavior is most likely to transfer. Like in our family, it went from alcohol to Diet Coke. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. Couldn't stop drinking Diet Coke, and then it switched to cigarettes. And then it went to painkillers, back to alcohol, and eventually killed them. So we lost a family member to alcoholism. And when I see that addictive behavior pattern now established through devices, it causes a great alarm, because every minute spent in that addiction pushes your dreams away that much farther.
You've mentioned a number of times here addictive patterns, but haven't really defined or indicated what those addictive patterns are. Why don't you follow up on that?
Well, whenever you crave something, you're becoming addicted to it. And the sad part of it is, and I'll speak from the basis of alcoholism, alcoholics go into alcohol to get away from the reality of the world that we live in. It's a deflection. It's an escape from a reality that causes them distress. But the problem is, the longer they stay in the alcoholism, in a fleeting moment of sobriety, they'll take a look at their world and realize, oh my gosh, 7 more years have gone by, and I still haven't accomplished anything. So they'll go right back into the bottle, and then another 5, 6, 7 years will go by, and then they'll come out of the bottle, and then they feel even worse because, now 15 years have gone by, and they still aren't any closer to getting where they wanted to go. And so, that's a very distressful thing. And when I see, and quite frankly, even adults now that can't stop staring into their phone,
right?
It's a deflection. It's a virtual reality. And I have to ask everybody, outside of working functions where you're returning phone calls or you're returning emails, let's face it, there's an efficient business tool side of all of this. But when you can't stop staring into your phone, picking up on the gossip on social media, or taking pictures of your own face, you get absorbed in that. You have to ask yourself, I mean, look at our society today. We're absorbed with taking pictures of our own face, and yet all success comes from serving the needs of others. That's where success comes from, not from being self-absorbed. And so this addictive thing going on right now is very, very destructive. And what gave me this platform, I don't want to get long-winded, but you mentioned it earlier, my boy, we ended up writing a book. It's called Prayer at Full Throttle, and to my total surprise, it became a self-published book. It hit #1 on Amazon twice last year, and it really kind of rocketed me into this platform that I have right now. And people have said, well, how did you do that? How could you possibly do all these things and now hit #1 on Amazon? And I said, quite frankly, I avoid addictions. I had to choose. Do you choose your device or your dream? And I'm encouraging people today to really break the connection with your device and roll up your sleeves. And, this is America. Achieve your dream. That's why our grandparents brought us here.
You mentioned a while back about the adults being addicted and having their face in the self. I mean, it's heartbreaking to see, a child trying to get the attention of a mom or a dad, and they're sitting there just playing with their phone. I mean, can you realistically think that you can work on device addiction for the 10 to 14 to 17-year-old when the adults in the house, when the parents are addicted as well? I mean, it's got to be a group thing.
Well, and that's really why I'm trying to reach out to parents right now and say, look, I mean, it's becoming monkey see, monkey do. Your kids are following not only the example of other kids, but because the parents are just as addicted as the children are, there's no stopping this. In fact, one of the reasons device addiction has gotten so prevalent is because, #1, it's legal. You don't have to be 21 years old to buy it, and it is completely legal regardless. It's accessible to all ages, whether you're 15 or 50, and the fact that parents and children alike are just as addicted, and it's so sad. Last April, in fact, it's a year ago tomorrow, I was sitting at a stoplight here in Minneapolis in my beautiful pearl white Cadillac Escalade, nicest car I've ever owned, and a 52-year-old woman, 52 years old, driving another sport utility vehicle, came right through an intersection at a school and torpedoed my car. The body shop said between 40 and 50 miles an hour. She never looked up. I've never been hit so hard in my entire life. She didn't see the stoplight, didn't see the kids, didn't see the cars, didn't see the school. She came through heads down, texting on her phone, and thank God she hit my big Escalade, because if not, she would have hit a whole bunch of kids. And so that's a testimony as to how dangerous this is getting.
So what in your research can you offer up for suggestions for people to kind of, maybe recognize, and maybe they already have recognized that they have an addiction or have a problem? What can you provide as far as, okay, here's the first step to healing? Putting the device.
I'll tell you what, it's just like an alcoholic. It doesn't start to change until they put down the bottle. And I'm telling people, put your phone down, shut it off. You don't, I realize you need it for work. I get that. Or maybe you need to check in with your children. But everybody who's spending too much time on their phone knows it. They absolutely know it. And I'm telling you that if there was ever a time in America when we needed everybody's dreams to come true, it is right now. And for every minute you're spending staring at your phone, your dreams are being delayed by that same amount of time. Let me shoot a moment of inspiration at everybody. Our grandparents came here because America was a land where all things were possible. So let's go back to the 1960s when we got into a space race with Russia. JFK said we're going to put a man on the moon, and everybody thought he was crazy. They said it couldn't be done. But you know what? We did it. And the people that went to the moon back in the 60s and achieved the impossible are no different than you or I or anybody that can hear my voice right now. They're people just like we are, but they believed the impossible could be made real, and they did it. So this is my challenge. The next time you see a full moon on a clear night, I want you to go outside and just do this for me. Go stare at that full moon and understand that there's only one country's flag standing on the crust of that moon, and it's the flag of the United States of America, and it was put there by people just like you and I, and we have to get back to that mindset if we're going to save this nation.
Yeah, you sit there and look at the futures, and the Robert Bakis of the world in the future going to be few and far between if we're all just kind of, numb from the smartphone and the device, addiction takeover.
Well, it's so sad because with women being so, diminished, let's face it, we've got, I don't want to get political here, but with class warfare, the attack on wealth, we've got kids being given everything, no one's being disciplined, they're getting trophies for just participating. There's really no will to win right now, and until you've really experienced the thrill of victory, you don't know what it feels like. But I'm telling you, America wasn't built by achieving average results or by not aiming high. America was built by people that strived for something better. They strived for greatness, and there's we have to get that back into everybody's mindset. So please put some attention back on your dreams and roll up your sleeves and get to work.
Robert, do you have a website that people can check out?
Yeah, I do. It's Robert Bakke, B-A-K-K-E, Robert Bakke Ministries. We're a really different ministry. We're all about America. We're all about unleashing gifts. And if you go there, you'll get a real quick look at what that looks like. And the book, Prayer at Full Throttle, is available on Amazon. Or if you like signed copies, you can actually go to robertbakke.com. I really enjoy signing copies for people. It's really been an example of what can happen in America when you believe strong enough and work hard enough.
Robert, hang in there. Our best to everybody there in the Minneapolis community, and get back to your workout.
Great. Hey, thanks, and thank you so much for listening, everybody.
Absolutely, yeah. Robert Bakke on with the Wake Up Call. Johnny Cruz next up on 1120 KPNW.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
From Bloomberg World Headquarters in New York, I'm John Tucker. U.S. stocks are fluctuating, technology shares tumbling on disappointing earnings, energy shares gaining with the price of crude oil, Alphabet, the parent of Google, and Microsoft leading losses among the tech giants after results fell short of estimates, while energy shares kept stock declines in check, crude extending a third weekly gain toward $44 a barrel. Daimler pacing a drop in European stocks amid emissions probes of the maker of Mercedes. A Japanese currency weakening as the Bank of Japan weighed the possibility of offering negative rate loans to banks. General Electric slipping as the conglomerate's sales were slightly short of expectations, even as earnings rose. Advanced Micro Devices jumping after forecasting higher than expected second quarter revenue, and McDonald's rising after its profit beat estimates. A Caterpillar, that's down about 3.4% after profit missed forecasts. And we have the Dow Jones Industrial Average 10 points higher at 17,991. And that's a Bloomberg Market Minute.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
Get instant cash back at Discount Windows.
Discount Windows is working with Energy Trust of Oregon to help you reduce energy costs and improve the comfort of your home.
Don't wait 6 to 8 weeks for a check. Make your project more affordable right now with instant savings.
We've handed out over $20,000 in instant cash incentives in just 5 months. Instant savings at Discount Windows.
Highway 99 in Junction City.
Open 7 days a week.
Instant cash incentives applies to windows installed by Discount Windows. CCP 180018.
It's opening day, and we're kicking it off in Junction City. This is Shannon Mill, and you're invited to celebrate the start of summer camping season. Test drive any car, truck, or RV, and you'll get a half-price fishing license. This weekend, enjoy a free barbecue lunch with all the fixins. Get behind the wheel and learn to drive and park a motorhome, trailer, or fifth wheel at our free driving school. Guarantees Travel Center is packed with 11,000 square feet of everything you need to hit the road this summer. Tour a massive selection of over 750 motorhomes, trailers, and fifth wheels, all at RV show prices. We have over 200 hard-to-find cars, trucks, and SUVs, perfect for your summer road trips. And you'll never pay any additional dealer markup on every new vehicle on our 3 giant lots. Learn more about opening day and half-price fishing licenses at Guarantee.com. We hope to see you at Guarantee's opening day celebration, just 5 minutes north of the Eugene Airport in Junction City. We don't just sell fun, we guarantee it.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. People with poor credit get some interesting offers. Take Plain Green, for instance. This is a short-term lender that will make you a quick loan for up to $1,000, payable in installments over 6 to 10 months, at an APR between 360 and 380%. The pitch is it's up to 40% cheaper than a payday loan that's due in 2 weeks. The fine print is quite straightforward, starting with, please note, this is an expensive form of credit and is designed for short-term emergency borrowing, not as a solution for long-term problems. Fair enough. I just wish the print was bigger. Here's the nugget. Payday loans and the Plain Greens of the world are legitimate tools for those with limited financial choices. As long as the terms are fully disclosed in plain English, do-gooders with high credit scores who would put them out of business because of the APR are way off base. What might give me pause about people using Plain Green is that it's not exactly in the United States. As it also discloses in the fine print, Plain Green is a tribal lending entity located on the Chippewa Cree's Rocky Boy, Montana Indian Reservation, a sovereign nation located within the United States. U.S. laws don't apply on Indian reservations. Exactly what that might mean in a dispute with Plain Green, I have no idea. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
Well, if you're one of those folks that's had, for instance, problems with a student loan, maybe, medical bills have gone upside down or other financial setbacks, head in to Guaranteed Discount Chevrolet because they're good people with bad credit program that's going on. And it's a way that you can get into a vehicle in 48 hours or less. It's going to get you to work. It's going to get your family where they need to be going, and it's also going to rehabilitate your credit. They've been doing this for quite a while. It's called the Good People with Bad Credit Program, and it works for cars or SUVs if you need one. Maybe you need a soccer mom van. They'll set you up. Give them a call, 541-998-2333. That's 541-998-2333. It's Guaranteed Discount Chevrolet. Good People with Bad Credit Program.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is my profound pleasure to introduce
The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Bursting with energy, ready to go out and wrestle moose with his bare hands, because that's what a manly man does when he's retiring from his job as a cop. Joining us on the Wake Up Call, it is his last Friday as an officer of the law. Here's John Cruz.
In the office.
Yeah, John Cruz, the
not his
host.
last day as an officer.
Well, John Cruz, host of Northwestern Outdoors, and Rob just ruined the big build-up to your impending
No,
retirement.
I just want to be accurate.
Anyway, John, thanks for being with us.
I am thrilled to be with you today for the last time from this phone in this office.
Yeah. So Wednesday is your last day, right?
Wednesday is the official last day. That's correct. And then I'm actually heading down to Diamond Lake, Oregon. So next week might be a little iffy. I'm not sure what kind of cell service they have there.
Oh, Diamond Lake, you're down in our neighborhood then, sort of.
I am.
What are you going to be doing there?
Northwest Outdoor Writers Conference for next week, Friday through Sunday. Then I'm heading to the Oregon Outback, do a little bit of fishing, a little bit of wildlife watching, and build a couple shows.
All right, where are you going to be fishing over in eastern Oregon, the Oregon Outback?
The Chewaucan River near Paisley for red band rainbows, and then I'm going to head up towards Summer Lake and fish the Anna River, Anna Reservoir, and do some wildlife watching out at Summer Lake.
When you say build shows, do you have a mobile studio, or where are you going to do that down here?
I've got the field recorder, and so I'll be interviewing some of the rangers at the Paisley District and at Summer Lake Wildlife Area, and the folks at the Summer Lake Lodge.
The Chewaucan River is so awesome. The way that when you get out there, you'll find that back road that goes from paved to one-lane paved to gravel, and if you stay on it, it'll take you all the way down to Lakeview.
Wow.
And it is, I'm serious, you've got to make that drive. It is a gorgeous drive. My son and I did that, I don't know, a number of years ago. Had a great time camping out there, and the Chewaucan is just, I mean, that whole strip right there of the state is absolutely amazing. I love that area. You're going to have a great time.
I got to say that again. Chewaucan, is that it?
Chewaucan,
It's
yeah.
not Chewaucan.
No, it's Chewaucan.
Chewaucan.
If you go, okay, I'll tell you this from personal experience. If you go into the Paisley store there, which is the only store in Paisley, and go, how's the fishing on the Chewaucan? They will give you that weird look and say, well, the fishing, I don't know about that, but the fishing on the Chewaucan is pretty good. I'm like, oh, okay. So just note, that way they'll look at you and go, oh, well, this is somebody who knows what he's talking about, as opposed to some outsider that we need to basically heap with scorn.
Well, thank you. Thank you for giving me that leg up, so to speak, when I walk into the store.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my pleasure. Okay, so this weekend from 6 to 7 o'clock, of course, Northwestern Outdoors heard on KPNW. What's going to be the show this week?
You know, we got a hodgepodge of things. We're talking with Allison Hall with Traditions Performance Firearms about their new Northwest Mag muzzleloading rifle. We'll be talking about halibut fishing and a place to stay during your trip at Nia Bay on the Olympic Peninsula. And we've got news about salmon fisheries on the Columbia River and on the coast in Puget Sound, which is really not good news. And then we've got some controversy about the federal duck stamp and whether other birds besides ducks should be on it, and if other people besides hunters should be paying for this stamp.
Okay, so I'm just curious, what other bird might be appearing on the duck stamp, or is it just a moose?
No, what was thrown out by the Fish and Wildlife Service was they want to have other birds on the duck stamp in an effort to attract bird watchers to buy the duck stamp, which is required purchase for any duck hunter, but duck hunter numbers have fallen, so they're trying to get more sales. So they figured, well, if we put a hawk on it, or if we put a heron on it, or if we put other birds in the background, maybe bird watchers will buy this stamp, and we can make money for the refuge system.
So okay, so I'm assuming they're just thinking that voluntarily they're going to buy the stamp. They're not going to force them to buy it to go out to a wildlife refuge, for instance, to bird watch, or are they?
Well, their premise is it's a voluntary purchase, but there's a writer in Field and Stream, and we talk about that, who actually says, you know what, why don't you make this a user fee for those people too? You know, hunters are paying the freight for recreation on wildlife refuges. How about wildlife watchers, the fastest growing segment, pay some of the freight too, and make it mandatory that if you're going to be on a wildlife refuge doing your thing, that you have one of these stamps.
Well, in some ways, it kind of makes sense. I mean, you've got, now all national parks you have to pay a fee to go in. And anymore, even the state parks here in Oregon, if you're going to go to a state park and you're just going to sit there and loiter and have a can of pop and sit at a bench and look at the river, they still want to charge you for it. So in some ways, as much as I don't like the idea, in a lot of ways, that makes a certain amount of sense, John.
It does. So, at any rate, that's the discussion we'll have.
I bet the Audubon Society will come out and say, no, it's not fair. You can't do this to us.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's going to happen, but we're a long ways from getting there. First, to be honest, one of the biggest controversies on this is from the people who participate every year in the duck stamp art contest. It's really a big deal for several artists, especially in the Midwest and the Dakotas, who put together these wonderful paintings in an effort to see who's going to get on the duck stamp, and they get a lot of money out of it, too. They do not want anything but ducks on their duck stamps.
Oh, I'm sure, because they've already painted the ducks the year before. Now somebody says, okay, we need you to paint hummingbirds. What?
Exactly.
I have the paint of a duck. What?
Who would have thought there'd be so much to talk about regarding the stamp you put on the back of your license?
No kidding. What do we have coming up this weekend that folks can do?
You know, I've been doing some hiking lately, and I'll tell you what, if you're in the mood to see some arrowleaf balsam root or some pink phlox, head over to somewhere like Cottonwood Canyon near Condon. Go on a desert wildlife hike. You can actually hike like 10 miles along the John Day River. Should be spectacular. If, on the other hand, you want to head to the beach, go north of Tillamook Head. The razor clamming, according to Department of Fish and Wildlife, has been nothing short of phenomenal, and the tides and the weather should make it even better in the next week or two.
All right. And in Astoria, don't forget they have the Crab Seafood and Wine Festival, and that's going to wrap it up for us, John. Have a great time. Congratulations on your impending retirement next Wednesday, and we'll look forward to hearing you on the show coming up tomorrow, 6 to 7 o'clock here on KPNW. Have a safe trip, by the way, to Diamond Lake.
Thank you. Take care, gentlemen.
All right, you take care. It's News Radio 1120 KPNW 757.
For the all-new John Deere riding mowers, tractors, and side-by-sides, think Ramsey Waite.
Make tracks to Ramsey Waite for John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers.
There's nothing like a John Deere Gator utility vehicle. From hardworking and trail-ready to the ultimate in work capability. Get into a Gator now at Ramsey Waite.
Don't just dream about it, wait for it.
Ramsey Waite.
Open Monday through Saturday. Franklin Boulevard, Glenwood. Online at RamseyWaite.com.
Shopping for your next grill at Midgley's is easy and convenient. Unlike home improvement stores, a walk across Midgley's doesn't require a relay baton. We know all about grills, too. Just don't ask us about sandpaper or toilet seats. And you don't need to remember where you parked. Our customer-friendly lot is directly behind our store. Get your next grill at Midgley's. We're at 7th and Chambers in Eugene. Midgley's. Anywhere else, and you're just playing with fire. CCB 161946.
You are a business owner.
I am a business owner.
You want to grow.
That's true. I do want to grow my business.
But you need help.
Especially with how I'm going to grow my business.
So you call U.S. Bank.
Good idea. They'll know how.
Our custom solutions give you what you need to expand.
That's just what I need to expand.
Add a production line.
Wow. Can you believe that production line?
Give you operating capital.
Can't operate without operating capital.
And help your business grow even more.
I think I'm going to need a bigger office.
With a business banker there by your side every step of the way.
Maybe I should start another business.
Visit your local U.S. Bank branch or usbank.com/quickloan today. U.S. Bank. the power of possible. Equal Housing Lender. Credit products offered by U.S. Bank National Association and are subject to normal credit approval and program guidelines. See your banker for details. Deposit products offered by U.S. Bank National Association, member FDIC.
Depend on us for breaking news from the local neighborhood to the global one. We are News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Dave Anthony. Shots fired in Ohio, apparently a lot of them. Multiple murders reported east of Cincinnati. Fox's Steve Taylor details what we know so far live.
A dozen state investigators have been sent to Pike County, Ohio, to help local authorities handle shootings involving multiple fatalities. There are reports of 7 dead, not yet confirmed. In the town of Peebles, investigators are at a private home, but the shootings may have come at more than one location. Peebles High School reportedly has been locked down. Dave.
Thank you, Steve. We're still waiting answers on why Prince died. As a memorial of candles, cards, and flowers grows as an autopsy today, the music legend had canceled shows recently, not feeling well.
There is now this Walgreens picture surfacing that appears to show Prince pacing inside or outside of a parking lot. What's interesting is when I arrived here yesterday, I spoke to a man who lives in the area, and he told me that several neighbors in this area confirmed seeing Prince at the Walgreens a few times in recent days. What that means, I guess, to be determined.
Fox's Matt Finn in suburban Minneapolis in between a royal lunch with the Queen and dinner with princes. President Obama is holding talks with Britain's Prime Minister. Fox's Simon Owen live in London.
Dave, the President and the Prime Minister are due to speak to reporters here shortly, and the focus here will be on what President Obama has to say about Europe. Britain is holding a referendum in June on quitting the EU, and the President is expected to urge Britons to vote to stay. It's a potentially pivotal endorsement for Prime Minister David Cameron, who says it's important to hear the views of allies, but anti-EU campaigners accusing the President of making an unwelcome intervention. Dave?
Simon, on Earth Day, more than 170 countries are at the UN signing a climate change agreement.
The urgency of this challenge is only becoming more pronounced.
Secretary of State John Kerry, it's partly symbolic. Many countries are still in the process of ratifying, and a threshold limiting emissions is up to each country. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This tip of the week brought to you by Neurospine Institute.
Most of us will experience some form of lower back pain in our lifetime. In fact, outside of the common cold, it's the most prevalent reason for missing work in the United States. Injuries and improper lifting can frequently cause lower back pain. But did you know that illness and infection can also cause moderate to severe discomfort? Many of the conditions can be diagnosed and treated with a visit to an orthopedic physician or pain management specialist. It's important to identify the cause of back pain before effectively treating the problem.
Are you living with chronic pain? The specialists at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the problem and develop a personalized treatment plan to address your symptoms. Their comprehensive services include clinical and surgical procedures, sports medicine, physical therapy, medical imaging, and pain management. Neurospine Institute's medical professionals will work closely with your primary care or referring physician to ensure that you receive the best care and treatment. They serve all of Western Oregon with 2 locations, the main campus in Eugene and their Roseburg clinic. Visit neurospinellc.com today and get your life back.
Again, our top Fox story that is still developing: multiple murders in Ohio, in Pike County, east of Cincinnati. Investigators on the scene. There have been reports as many as 7 people might be dead. That has not been confirmed. There have also been reports of maybe more than one crime scene. Again, this is still developing in Pike County, about 80 miles east of Cincinnati. 4 days before 5 states hold primaries, Ted Cruz keeps telling Republicans that a vote for Donald Trump is actually a vote for Hillary Clinton, as Trump gets back to his familiar attack.
How about Cruz? Is it lying Ted? You're right, lying Ted. He's a liar.
But is this Trump style of campaigning going to change? Fox's John Decker live in Washington.
After his landslide victory in the New York Republican primary on Tuesday, Donald Trump is now pivoting to the general election and attempting to reshape his public persona. Trump's newly installed campaign chief, Paul Manafort, told members of the Republican National Committee yesterday that Trump would now begin working with the Republican establishment and raising money for the Republican Party. Manafort said that Trump's negatives are going to come down, and he suggested that Trump was about to begin a more professional phase of his campaign. As part of that effort, Trump intends to deliver a major foreign policy address at the National Press Club here in Washington next week. Dave?
John, the day after Volkswagen worked out an agreement to buy back diesel cars in the U.S. or compensate owners in the emissions test cheating scandal, the automaker is taking an $18 billion accounting hit. Another German car maker is also being probed.
German luxury car maker Daimler is investigating its certification process for diesel exhaust emissions in the U.S. The Justice Department is asking the company to investigate possible indications of irregularities. Mercedes-Benz diesel owners recently filed a class action lawsuit. They accuse Mercedes of programming the models improperly.
That's Fox's Ginny Casola. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
$11:20 KPNW, 8:05. Wake up call, final hour of Friday. Wet, and more wet, cloudy, and not too warm. That's just what you have the outlet or outlook for the weekend. Currently 52 degrees on this April 22nd. 5 years, the 5-year anniversary of our good friend Chris Kilcullen being taken from his family, his community, shot in the line of duty. And today there's going to be some things that are going on to mark and to commemorate, acknowledge, and celebrate the man that was just a beacon in this community, Chris Kilcullen. One way that you can kind of show support for him and his law enforcement family, happening at Papa's Pizza today, the location Coburg, they're having one of the benefits with the flyer. You need the flyer, so you go to papaspizza.net. You get the flyer, and then you go, maybe get a couple of flyers. Go multiple times to support the Oregon Police Unity Tour. And we're going to have Nate along shortly to talk about that. There's an auction going on tonight. Bunch of things happening. And we, of course, tip the hat to Papa's. You talk about a pillar in the community, always doing great things in the fundraising department. Today, no different. So pretty much lunch to dinner, sometime at some point in your schedule, if you could get a flyer and go eat some delicious pizza or get a little salad bar action, 50% of today's proceeds with the flyer going to the Oregon Police Unity Tour. Before we get out of here, too, we're also going to qualify a couple of people for the Cuthbert Season Pass. Got a lot of things to get to in our final hour. One of those things, news.
Yeah. We'll have these stories coming up in just a couple of minutes. Well, finally, the TSA has said, all right, we'll come back to your little crummy airport in Klamath Falls. Oh, now watch the emails come in. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about a new scam that's going on, and it's actually a very convincing scam dealing with folks who have student loans, and it is a scam that has hit folks in Eugene and Corvallis and Salem. We'll have the details there. All that and more coming up. Brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones on KPNW.
Burrito Amigos salutes the letter T. In English, T usually denotes the voiceless alveolar plosive, as in the words tap and tame, or taco, torta, and tostada, which really aren't English words, but if you're going to use examples, they should be delicious. And if they start with a T and they come from Burrito Amigos, well, they are. Now you can have your tortas, tacos, and tostadas with chicken, shredded beef, carne asada made with certified Black Angus, or adobada, an amazing, spicy, tasty grilled pork. And none of those selections have the letter T, but Carnitas does. So if you're a voiceless alveolar plosive purist, then you'll enjoy that in your Burrito Amigos torta, taco, and tostada. In case you're wondering, a torta is sort of a grilled sandwich made on torta bread. Tamales and taquitos are also delicious Burrito Amigos T words. So is tofu, which some people want in their burritos from Burrito Amigos. Burrito Amigos, they didn't invent the letter T, they just made examples using it more delicious. Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, working their way through the alphabet, one tasty treat at a time.
Brad's Cartoons in Springfield has arrived. The same great car, ATV, and marine audio hub in Eugene has come to Springfield. Brad's Cartoons is the place to go for speakers, head units, subs, amplifiers, DVD players, and security systems. Professional custom installs on site. Brad's Cartoons, 7th and Blair in Eugene and 38th and Main in Springfield. Stay tuned.
Tired Tired of long wait times and high prices at your local boat repair shop? The Boat Dock LLC Marine Repair in Springfield has the fastest turnover. With state-of-the-art test equipment and on-site test tank, the jobs are done right the first time. From simple tune-ups and water pumps to complete repowers on all types of marine powerboats, the Boat Dock LLC is the shop to visit at 1252 30th Street in Springfield, a Better Business Bureau accredited business. Visit their website at eugeneboatrepair.com. That's eugeneboatrepair.com.
This is News Radio 1120 KPNW. And we've got the local story in the morning wake-up call.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Well, if you have a student loan, beware. Scammers are trying to steal your money, and they've come up with a new clever way to do it. Brad Ford reports. All right. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of an issue with this particular newscast.
The scammers are calling people with student loans. They claim to be from the Oregon 529 network at the state treasury. The caller ID backs up their claim.
No matter what it says on the caller ID display, be skeptical.
James Sinks with the state treasurer's office says they're using technology that lets their call display a fake ID. At least one person has lost $1,000. The calls have been reported in Corvallis, Eugene, and Salem. They asked the person to pay with a prepaid card.
The Oregon State Treasury does not collect student loans, nor do we collect taxes.
If you get one of these calls, hang up and call the company that issued your student loan to see whether there's an issue or not. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Police are searching for a pair of suspects accused in a violent robbery near the University of Oregon campus. Police said that a man and a woman were shoplifting at the Market of Choice on Franklin. An employee tried to intervene. Well, they used physical force, beating that particular employee. Police described the man as a white male, 6'2", in his 20s with blonde hair. His female accomplice, Caucasian, 5'5", with short, dark, reddish-brown hair. A Eugene optometrist was taken into custody on felony charges from Multnomah County. Eugene police arrested Paul Olsofsky at the Walmart on West 11th. He's an employee there. The Multnomah County District Attorney's Office issued a warrant for Olsofsky's arrest on charges of practicing medicine without a license. Now, according to documents filed with Multnomah County, the charges stem from Olsofsky falsely using the title MD. Well, according to state records, he is not licensed with the Oregon Medical Board. Therefore, he's not an MD. That is a title that is typically given to ophthalmologists. He is only a optometrist and is registered with the Oregon Board of Optometry. Records show that Olsofsky was fined by the Oregon Board of Optometry for adding the MD behind his name on business signs and in advertisements in a 5-year period between 2010 and 2015. A 36-year-old man has been convicted of murder in the death of a man whose body was found on tidal mud flats near a wastewater treatment plant in Coos Bay. Sean Yamati was also found guilty of conspiracy to tamper with a witness, attempted tampering with physical evidence, and abuse of a corpse. Coos County District Attorney Paul Frazier says the charges related to Yamati beating Martin, dragging his body, and burning his clothing. He's also accused of conspiring with other inmates while he was jailed on the initial murder charge to encourage witnesses not to show for court. Yamati is going to be sentenced in May. 3 Lane County high schools have earned a top spot on the U.S. News and World Report's list of Oregon's best high schools. 32 schools were considered for the list. South Eugene High School was ranked 9th. Lowell Junior and Senior High School came in 19th. Churchill was ranked 23rd out of 326 public and charter schools in the state.
You know, rankings are pretty arbitrary, and I'm never really buy into it either way. But I agree, it's one of Oregon's best high schools. I think that's pretty cool to get acknowledged for that.
B.J. Blake is the principal of Churchill High School. The rankings are based on test scores, graduation rates, college readiness, reading and math proficiency, along with a number of other factors. Nationwide, South Eugene ranked 1,018 out of 28,561 U.S. public high schools. Lowell came in at 1,674 nationally, and Churchill ranked 2,079. Blake applauded each one of the schools for doing well.
When I look at, I'm a community member as well, a taxpaying community member, and I want all of our schools to do really well. So when South Eugene does well, I cheer. When Sheldon does well, I cheer. When the kids at Echo do well, I cheer. And when North does well, I cheer.
North Eugene also made the list of Oregon's best high schools. They just weren't ranked in the top 25. A recent Senate Finance Committee hearing held statements from Senator Ron Wyden saying that the IRS has left U.S. taxpayer data vulnerable because the IRS cannot hold onto its high-ranking tech staff. U of O Associate Professor and creator of the U of O Center for Cybersecurity and Privacy, June Lee, agrees with Senator Wyden.
More work and more people are needed in this particular field.
The need is highlighted by over 269 data breaches at the IRS alone this year. Those breaches have exposed over 11 million taxpayers' records to hackers. Hackers have the capability of commandeering your car, your phone. iCloud hacks have exposed thousands of celebrities' private photos. It's why there is an urgent need for new blood in the cybersecurity ranks. The U of O is bringing top cybersecurity experts to campus today for their 6th annual Oregon Cybersecurity Day. They're using the event as a chance to bring in great minds to recruit at the event.
We also provided travel grants to some students from the remote areas to come to Eugene to attend the event.
This month, Lee won a $500,000 National Science Foundation grant to examine fraud and attacks on social networks. Video from a police body camera has been released showing the events that led to the fatal shooting of a Seaside police officer and a suspect who was being arrested. Brad Ford has that story.
You have a warrant for your arrest. Get on the ground.
2 Seaside police officers were arresting Philip Ferry, and Ferry refused to cooperate and wouldn't remove his hands from his pocket.
Taser.
So they used a taser to force him to the ground.
612 taser deployed.
When Officer Jason Gooding was attempting to control Ferry, he fired a gun in his pocket, killing Officer Gooding. The second officer shot Ferry. District Attorney Josh Markey says the response was appropriate.
He really tried to do everything that officers are supposed to do.
Ferry died at a hospital. A second man, Jamie Lee Jones, was later arrested and now faces federal firearms charges for giving Ferry the gun. Brad Ford, KPNW.
A federal study has shown that Oregon's child welfare system is utterly failing at keeping children in state care safe and healthy. The study concluded, and I'm quoting, "Oregon is trending in the wrong direction." It found caseworkers are taking far too long to check on allegations of abuse and neglect, with just over half of all child welfare investigations completed on time. The most serious cases require check-ins within 24 hours, but the state meets that goal less than 2/3 of the time. The state has struggled to keep children who've been abused from being harmed again, either in state custody or afterward. And parents aren't able to see their kids as often as they should, according to the report. At the same time, the study found available foster homes have declined in the state from 4,230 in 2013 to 3,847 last year. The report came just weeks after a $60 million lawsuit claiming neglect and abuse was filed against the Department of Human Services. There was also a department staffing shakeup in 2015 after a Northeast Portland provider was accused of neglecting children and misusing millions of dollars of state money for years, all with the expressed knowledge of state officials. They let it go on. That scandal prompted legislation to supposedly shore up the foster care system. 70% of the bills passed by the legislature and signed into law by Governor Brown this year contained what's called an emergency clause. These clauses have the legal effect of blocking voters from repealing a law through a citizens' referendum. One glaring example of this abuse was a Senate Bill 1518 that established a pilot program that was an emergency to create artificial beaver dams. The No Fake Emergencies Committee is working to put a constitutional amendment on the ballot to end fake emergencies and let the people have their say.
They can still put an emergency clause on a bill if they get 40 votes in the House out of 60 or 20 votes in the Senate out of 30.
Jeff Kropp with the committee says you can get a petition online at nofakeemergencies.com.
It's a constitutional amendment, so we have to have 118,000, a little over 118,000 valid Oregon voters' signatures by July 8th.
The organization's goal is to get 150,000 signatures to ensure they have enough validated signatures. Kropp wouldn't say how many signatures they've already gathered. Well, now that the tax filing deadline has passed, if you get a letter in the mail from the IRS and it's not a refund check, Brad Ford says more likely than not, it's not bad news.
Sure, it could be notice of an audit, but in most cases, that's not what the IRS wants to tell you.
Don't panic. Usually a lot of these notices are simply informational.
David Tucker with the IRS says it might be a simple correction and you don't need to do anything. Read through the letter and it'll explain whether you need to take action. Watch out for scams. The IRS will not ask you to pay in a certain way, such as with a prepaid credit card.
That's the technique that scammers use. And the IRS doesn't do that.
If you have any doubts about correspondence you receive from the IRS, look up their 800 number and call them to confirm the letter is legitimate. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Let's look at the news. Brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Chicago Cubs pitcher Jake Arrieta struck out 6, walked 4. Oh, and didn't allow a hit. His no-no shut out the Cincinnati Reds as the Cubs go down to the Cubs, beating the Reds 16-0. The reigning NL Cy Young winner threw a no-hitter back in August of last season. Dodger pitcher Clayton Kershaw, pretty good outing as well, struck out 10, held the Braves to 1 run. Dodgers win 2-1 over the Braves. AL, Seattle Mariners outlast the Cleveland Indians in 10-7 the final. Robinson Cano, the 3-run homer that wins it. College ball, Oregon at UCLA goes down in flames, losing game 1 6-3. The Oregon softball team, they haven't played for almost 2 weeks. They're back at it at number 25 Arizona State, who have lost 6 in a row. NBA playoffs, Oklahoma City Thunder branded the Dallas Mavericks in game 3, 131-101. Kevin Durant back in fine form. He scored 34, Thunder up 2-1. And James Harden nails the jumper with under 3 seconds to go. Houston Rockets get a home win over the Golden State Warriors, 97-96, without Steph Curry. And OSU basketball, Derek Bruce transferring from the team. Wake Up Call Sports brought to you by Max Muscle. Where's your finish line? Set a goal, make a plan, get results. On Franklin from across from Market of Choice, news time 8:22.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes or you're already out and about, we had a major storm system move in overnight. Even brought in a few isolated thunderstorms late in the evening, as well as fairly heavy showers. Now, if you're headed out now, we've got mostly cloudy skies. Temps right now only in the mid to low 50s thanks to the cloud cover trapping in the heat last night. We do have a few isolated showers off and on and winds out of the southeast at 5 to 10. This afternoon, the core from the system will continue to push through, and that means isolated showers off and on, as well as a chance of thunderstorms this afternoon. About a 90% chance, and we could see as much as a half-inch of rain. Mostly cloudy skies look to continue into the afternoon. The sun may peek out here and there, but for the most part, it's going to be a wet day. Now, highs will be limited only to the mid to low 60s out there thanks to a strong cold front attached to the storm system. It'll continue to blow through the area this afternoon and into the night. Then we'll get a small break before the next storm system arrives Saturday night into your Sunday. Get ready. The next 72 hours look fairly wet. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic Friday.
This winter, we received more rainfall than in the past 75 years. Severe weather can cause damage to your home's foundation. Ramjack can fix that. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com.
CCB 146906.
When the sun comes out, the critters are up and moving. SM Gun Shop wants you to be ready. Get a head start on varmint season with huge savings on Black Hills 223 plus special wall-to-wall pricing. It's only at SM Gun Shop on River Road in Eugene, Lane County's most established gun store.
I'm not a bodybuilder.
I am not an athlete.
I'm not into health clubs.
I do not eat junk food.
I am not a young man anymore.
I am exercising daily. I am feeling great. I am loving life.
I am Max Muscle. Max Muscle Sports Nutrition, Franklin Boulevard, Eugene.
Message and data rates may apply.
If you're self-employed and have not yet claimed your free trial of the money-saving software from QuickBooks Self-Employed, it's not too late. Our mission is to get this automatic mileage tracking and deduction maximizing software into the hands of every self-employed person in America as quickly as possible. That's why we're giving away these absolutely free trials. To get yours, text TRIAL10 to 67076.
It automatically tracks my trips and records my deductions so I can keep more of the money I make.
It's awesome. It gives me back my freedom, really.
QuickBooks Self-Employed is designed to help self-employed Americans keep more money in their pocket. And it's working. On average, subscribers identify $18,217 in potential annual deductions. And it's so easy, anyone can use it. If you haven't claimed your free trial yet, it's not too late. Text TRIAL10 to 67076. But hurry while we're still giving trials away for free. Again, text TRIAL10 to 67076. That's TRIAL10 to 67076.
Eugene Concert Choir presents Antonio Esteves, Saturday, April 30th, at the Holt Center, a lush cinematic musical adventure inspired by the Venezuelan folk legend Florentino and the Devil, with soloists from Caracas and special guest Eugene Symphony. Reserve your seats now and don't miss this thrilling concert of Latin American classical music. Eugene Concert Choir presents Antonio Esteves in Cantata Criolla, Saturday, April 30th, at the Holt Center. For tickets, call 682-5000 or visit eugeneconcertchoir.org.
Do you have 30 minutes a week to make a difference in the life of a Eugene middle school student? Middle school can be challenging. Some students feel isolated. Many students come from low-income families, making it harder to fit in at school. You can make a difference. Be a part of the Eugene Middle School Lunchtime Mentor Program this school year. Visit 4j.lane.edu/volunteers for more information. Kids are waiting.
Sometimes good things happen to good people, and sometimes bad things happen to good people. And if you happen to be one of those good people that have been dealing with bad financial problems, and then your car breaks down, well, you're kind of in a fix, because unless you can figure out a way to pay full price cash for it, it is almost impossible to get a loan to buy a vehicle. Well, at Guaranty Discount Chevrolet, if you're a person who's out there, who's got a job, who's working every day, they have what's known as the Good People Bad Credit Program. They get that medical bills can completely wipe you out. They understand that. They know that student loans can catch up with you, or other financial setbacks. Within 48 hours, they can get you into a quality, safe, reliable vehicle, and they'll help you get not only back on the road to work, but also back on the road to a good credit rating, because it helps rehabilitate that credit. Give them a call at 541-998-2333. That's 541-998-2333.
The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
I want to say goodbye and thanks for your help. I want to talk with you a little about what has happened since I became your president. I am speaking to you from the room where I have worked since April 1945. This is the President's office in the West Wing of the White House, where I have signed most of the papers that embodied the decisions I have made as president. It has been the desk of many presidents and will be the desk of many more.
That is Harry S. Truman and a portion of his farewell address to the American people, and it resides on the American Presidency Project website. Joining us to talk a little bit about that today is one of the curators of that particular website. He is a political science professor at the University of California at Santa Barbara. Joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning, it is Professor John Woolley. John, thanks for being with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Great to be here, Bill.
It is a pleasure to have you with us. This is a fascinating website, I have to say. What was, I guess, the genesis for you and your partner working on this site, Gerhard Peters, to kind of create a site devoted to the American presidency and documents, media, videos, audio, and the like dealing with it?
Well, it began and it still continues as an instructional project to make available to students primary materials about presidents in a way that's easy to access and engaging, so they could use it in their coursework, preparing papers and so forth. And then gradually we've found out that there was a much larger audience for this that we're happy to try to address. And it's a place where we archive materials that are not otherwise being archived at other locations, and we make them available in a way that's easy for users to search.
What kind of, when you say that you have materials that are archived here that are not found elsewhere, what kind of materials are those?
Well, for example, we are currently collecting from the websites of all the candidates for president their speeches and statements, press releases, and we've done that now for several elections, and they're archived, and those things are not archived anywhere else. We're not the only place that has the debate transcripts, but I think we're the only place that has them available in a way that's really easy for people to search across debates, this election, previous elections. We have party platforms, and so it's all that sort of contemporary documentation that's not official president White House issued documents, which of course we have all of those.
Mm-hmm. You know, you said that originally it was set up for students, and then you realized it was a little bit more popular than that. It's quite a bit more popular than that. The last time there was a counter somewhere on the website that I was looking at, and you had close to 7 million different folks that have visited this website. I mean, that's a hefty number for any website.
Right, we've been really pleased with the traffic that we've generated, and that was a surprise. We began simply, as I said, trying to find material and put them up for students, and then eventually we realized that the traffic we were getting was a lot more than could be accounted for by the small number of presidency courses that I knew were trying to use the site, and that was, in many ways, an incentive for us to get more, to be more active and try to have a bigger collection. And we get lots of traffic now because people regard us as a place where, well, it's a place that's easy to get information from, and we work really hard to try to make it accurate in terms of reproducing the documents. So yeah, it's become. We know that the White House press corps uses this on a regular basis because it's so simple and easy. We've been told by a White House speechwriter that the White House speechwriters use this site in preference to the White House itself because the White House website is not easy to use. So I think there's a big advantage to being available and easy. Plus, you know, we allow people who are interested in a lot of contemporary controversial subjects to do easy background research. And so we get a lot of traffic related to that.
What do you think is for you, what portion of the website is the most compelling? I know for myself, I like any of the audio stuff. I mean, because, of course, I'm in radio and I think in terms of audio. And you've got some fascinating audio on here. For yourself, what part of the site do you think is, the most compelling? What's the side of it, the part of it where you just go, this is so cool?
Well, it's really looking at the analytics pages that shows me what the traffic is.
Yeah, okay. Right. Hey, we got another hit today.
It depends a lot on that. I really like the fact, and we want to increase the extent to which we have audio-visual and sort of ancillary materials that are linked to the documents. Because I agree with you. I think it really makes things come alive, and we want to provide more of that, more documentation about the context in which an event took place. And one of the things that the pages that I enjoy a lot is our elections page, where we have maps that show the party breakdown of election outcomes over time. And this, in a quick glance, it shows you two things. One is the physical growth of the United States, beginning from the beginning. And second is the sort of rapid shifts, often rather rapid shifts back and forth between parties in dominating national election outcomes. And I think that kind of historical view, the opportunity to have a long historical view of things, is one of the things that I like, especially about the site.
Well, is there any, I know that, I mean, talking to other folks that, and I'm going to call you kind of a curator, that curate a site like this of a historical nature, they generally will always have a holy grail item, document, book, video, piece of audio that they're looking for, that they think is out there, or maybe they know is out there, but yet they've never been able to find it. Is there one of those things, you being, you know, a political science professor, obviously, you know, interested in the history of the presidency, is there a holy grail item out there for you that, man, if I could only find this, that would make it?
Well, yes and no. What there are gaps. There are gaps that we know exist that we would like to be able to fill. So, just for an example, although this may not strike you as a particularly hot-seeming item, the official documentation for Presidents Harding and Coolidge is not very good. And we would love to have somebody show up to us with digitized collections of Harding and Coolidge speeches that we could put in to fill out the collection. One of the things that we're really proud of doing is providing the full text of all presidential executive orders going back through Harry Truman. There's thousands of prior executive orders. We'd like to be able to fill out that kind of collection. We now use YouTube as a way to put up video. We'd love to have more video, and there are lots of important events where we have just fragmentary video of some event, a lot of early speeches. It would be terrific to be able to have access to sources of sort of complete video and audio that we could link to the documents.
It's a fascinating website. Now, the website itself, you can find it at presidency.ucsb.edu, and that'll take you to it. And the thing that I notice about it compared to other websites, whether you're talking about, for instance, the National Archive website, or whether you're talking about even something like the Smithsonian or archive.org, is how easy it is to navigate this thing and find what it is you're looking for. I mean, I think other websites should actually use this as a model. This has got to be, even if for as comprehensive as it is, this is one of the easiest to navigate websites ever. I mean, you guys did an awesome job of thinking your way through this and putting it together. So kudos to both of you on that.
Well, thank you, Bill. We really take a lot of satisfaction in that, and to give credit where credit is due. One of the starting points for us was a deal we made basically with the Truman Presidential Library, which was that we provided them with a collection of digitized Truman papers, and they had a search engine that they were preparing to use at the Truman Library that they gave us. A search code, and we've modified that extensively since. But it's a community project in that sense, where lots of people have contributed, and it only works that way.
All right. John, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call. Best of luck with the website. I think this is the perfect time of the year and time of the season to be talking about it, particularly going into, as we're in the middle of the primaries and getting ready to go into the general election season, for folks that want an actual, little bit of history on the presidency and elections. I can't think of a better website. So thanks for being with us this morning to talk about it.
It's great to be with you, Bill. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. John Woolley joining us on the Wake Up Call. Again, the website, easy to find. It is presidency@ucsb.com. Truly awesome website. 839 News Radio, 1120 KPNW.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
From Bloomberg World Headquarters in New York, I'm John Tucker. Stocks are slipping now amid disappointing earnings in the U.S. and a rout in European carmakers. Investors winding back enthusiasm that had sent equity gauges to this year's highs earlier in the week. The Japanese yen dropping on the prospect of a fresh stimulus today from the Bank of Japan. Alphabet, the parent of Google, and Microsoft leading losses among American tech giants, sending the Nasdaq to its steepest drop in 10 weeks. Daimler pacing the drop in Europe amid emissions probes, while energy shares kept stock declines in check as crude oil extended a third weekly gain past $44 a barrel. NYMEX crude right now up $1.03. That's up 2.4% at $44.22. Well, General Electric slipping as the conglomerate sales were slightly short of expectations, even as earnings rose. Advanced Micro Devices jumping after forecasting higher than expected second quarter revenue. Right now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 55 points. That's a Bloomberg.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene-Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
The Oregon guard threads a pass to his big man. Slam dunk.
Precision counts, whether it's a big game on the line or your quality of life.
I had excruciating pain in my cheek and jaw, a condition called trigeminal neuralgia. My doctor recommended Sacred Heart Gamma Knife Center.
The physicians used highly focused, precise radiation beams to target the nerve. Game over for Mary's pain in just a few weeks. If you have severe facial pain, ask your primary doctor or specialist about Gamma Knife. Visit peacehealth.org/Gamma Knife to learn more.
Wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, a crashing economy. Are you ready? At best, your local stores have a 3-day supply of food. Will your family have to fight over what's left? Are you willing to gamble your family's safety that it'll never happen to you? Be wise and be ready with 25-year shelf life Wise Food Storage. Wise Food Storage provides affordable, ready-made gourmet meals with a super long 25-year shelf life. Meals like pasta Alfredo, cheesy lasagna, breakfast, dessert, drinks, and snacks. Just add water and your family is eating delicious food instead of fighting for scraps in a food riot. Try it free. Order a no-obligation free sample meal delivered right to your front door. And for a limited time, get a 10% discount and free shipping on all orders. Once done, you're set for 25 years. Be wise and be ready with Wise Food Storage. Call for your free sample now. 800-775-9353. 800-775-9353. 800-775-9353.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good Friday morning to you and yours. If you're headed out in the next few minutes, you're already out and about. We are tracking a few light showers off and on from last night's major storm system that blew through the area. Otherwise, we've got mostly cloudy skies. Temps right now are in the mid to low 50s. We also have some light winds out of the southeast at 5 to 10. Now, this afternoon, unlike the last few days, it will not clear up. Mostly cloudy skies will continue out there thanks to the strong cold front in this storm system. Highs will be limited to the mid to low 60s. We've got an 80% chance of showers off and on, as well as a few isolated thunderstorms later this afternoon. Now, most of this energy should start to taper off later tonight, but that break will not last long as the next storm system moves in Saturday night into your Sunday. We're looking at a fairly wet pattern over the next 72 hours, and highs this afternoon, where they're going to be limited to the mid to low 60s because of the strength of the cold front in this same storm system. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
A lot of things happening this weekend, and you might just need to decompress and, I don't know, throw the covers over, stay in your jammies, and spend some time with the mattress. If you've not been to Sleep Train ever, maybe it's time to take a test lay so that some bonding time where the quality mattress could be in your future this weekend. It's amazing when you kind of upgrade. I know as far as happy customers, I am one. I would love to hear and see how many returned and repeat customers come to through Sleep Train. Because not only do they know the product, they're giving you great knowledge because they actually have to go to school to get the knowledge. There is mattress technology out there, and you can get it at Sleep Train, along with the interest-free for 3 event going on right now. 3 years, interest-free financing, no money down on top-name brands like Tempur-Pedic, Beautyrest Black Hybrid, or if you go movable base on approved credit with up to 36 equal monthly payments required, or save up to $200 on Beautyrest and Posturepedic mattress sets, 2 of Sleep Train's most popular mattress brands. The great thing about it, you get there before 2 o'clock and you can be sleeping like a baby tonight with that same day delivery. Everything, all the interest-free for 3 event and everything else we talk about going on this weekend. In fact, today at Sleep Train in Eugene, Springfield, Corvallis, and Salem. And tell them you like this with the Wake Up Call.
I'm proud to call myself their #1 listener.
The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London.
All right, sweethearts, what are you waiting for?
On News Radio 1120. KPNW.
8:45, 15 away from 9 o'clock. Closing moments of a Friday go-round. Pretty emotionally charged day. April 22nd, 5 years ago. Also on a Friday, afternoon rush hour, we lost Officer Chris Kilcullen. And it's unbelievable to think that it's been 5 years. For those that know and loved and worked with Chris, it's been even a tougher adventure, to say the least. His father, John, and fellow officer Nate Pieski joining us in studio. Thank you both for coming down on this Friday. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having us.
As an officer, I always thought that Chris combined the perfect combination of professionalism and compassion. As you think about his influence and the legacy, things that you can point to in the last 5 years, what comes to mind?
What comes to mind is how many times and how often I have people recognize the name and ask if I knew Chris, and of course I say that he was my son. That happened less than just a couple of weeks ago at Bimart, and then over at Jerry's. It's just people recognize the name and notice the highway and are kind enough to ask. And quite frankly, it's sad. It makes me sad when people mention him, because then it's just another reminder, but it feels so good to know that he's remembered after.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How that, I mean, I'm sure there's good days and bad days, but with the nature of the community and how much it was talked about, are you thinking that it's pretty much decreasing in the amount of talk, or is it out there just as much as you would say 2 to 3 years ago?
I think it's just as much. I mean, as far as interaction that people have with me, it just happens real regularly that people ask if I knew him, and the number of people who come in and say that they had known him or met him or had a exchange with him, either on the job or not on the job. It's just wonderful to hear his name and know that he is being remembered by a lot of people.
Family man who worked in radio, actually, here in Eugene, and some people I don't think knew that. For somebody that maybe was a fan afar, or maybe just had brief dealings with, or never got to meet Chris, is there anything that you can share? Anything about him as a person that people wouldn't know about? A little tidbit.
One of the things, his love of life, like lots of people, but he had a great sense of humor.
He always liked to entertain. He loved to joke around. He seemed to get involved in all kinds of activities within the department and within the community that are not work related. He just was from the time he was just a little guy. He was always looking for ways to make jokes. He just loved to make people laugh.
Seems always in the service of others. Was he like that as a kid?
Oh, he always. Yes, as a kid he was. Went to corridor school and then through the Bethel School District, and he was involved in sports and in some of the other school activities.
I didn't know he went to corridor.
Yes, they're on Silver Lane.
Yeah, had no idea. Nate, let's bring you into the conversation. For somebody that doesn't know about the Unity Tour, what's it all about?
Well, the Police Unity Tour is technically it has two main purposes. One is to increase the awareness of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., and kind of a secondary purpose is to help raise money for the memorial. On the walls of the memorial holds more than 20,000, the names of 20,000 officers that have been killed in the line of duty since the first recorded in the line of duty death in 1791. Actually, there's 20,789 names on the wall, to be exact. So the Police Unity Tour was started in 1997 by a few officers in Florham Park, New Jersey, and they wanted to do just that. They wanted to raise awareness of in the line of duty deaths with police officers. So they formed a ride from Florham Park, New Jersey, and ended up in Washington, D.C., and it's been going stronger and stronger ever since.
So how many miles do you think you've tallied in the last couple of years on a bike?
Oh, geez. Well, just on Unity tours alone, we average anywhere from 250 to about 280 per year. This is my 6th year, so I'm no mathematician, but that's a lot of miles.
It's a bunch.
And then on top of that, we train. We train hard every weekend and try to get in midweek rides because if you don't prep yourself mentally and physically,
it'll kick your butt.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many officers are a part of the team?
This year we have six riders, and then we have one deputy that is running support for us. So he'll basically assist in any way necessary to achieve success for the tour.
So we have an event going on today, pretty much all day at Papa's. Talk about how people can kind of help indirectly, directly.
We do. Papa's Pizza, in true form and fashion of Papa's Pizza and supporting their community.
Yeah.
They've allowed us to do another Papa's Pizza fundraiser night, or day and night, I guess, to raise money for our Police Unity Tour team from Oregon. So you can go to their website at the Coburg Papa's Pizza, click on the link there and scroll down on the calendar and print out a flyer. Present the flyer when you check out for your food, and 50% of the proceeds go to our team.
And then what's happening tonight?
Then tonight we have it'll be our 6th annual auction, where we have all kinds of gift certificates, goods and services, products, and such that have been graciously donated by community members and businesses and such. So it's just going to be a silent auction from 5 p.m. to 7:30, and you can come out and get some cool stuff and support a great cause.
So you can kind of hit it with the auction, and then you bring the flyer. You're there for dinner. You can kind of do the 1-2 punch.
Exactly, and you don't even have to wait for dinner. You can go there for lunch, and maybe you can come back for dinner too. Everybody's got to eat.
Might as well eat pizza.
Yeah.
And they also have salad.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
So 50%. And typically, how much money does it cost to get everybody out there to the East Coast?
Well, just to join and to have well, I'd consider it an honor and a privilege to be able to do it. You have to raise a minimum of $1,850, and then you have another $150 registration fee. Then you have, your airfare to and from, and some of basically your evening meals while we're on tour. Your breakfast and lunch are taken care of, but then you have, all your transportation costs and such. So it can easily cost upward of $3,500 for a rider just to participate. So
that has got to be a sight to see. I mean, how many Police Unity Tour riders are we seeing? How many at a bunch?
Well, our group is called we're under Chapter 7, which is from Southern California, and we're the Challenge Ride. And the Challenge Ride is a touch shorter, but it's a faster pace. So our mileage is going to vary between about 245 and 288 miles-ish. Sometimes we have to augment our route a little bit. But our group has actually grown up to 400 riders this year. Actually, 350 riders with 50 support personnel. And then when we get into Washington, D.C. on the last day, we will, in totality, be approximately 2,000 to 2,100 people. So it's blue and white Police Unity Tour jerseys as far as the eye can see in RFK Park in Washington, D.C. And then we all get up together and ride together into the National Law Enforcement Memorial on the 12th.
Which is, and I'm looking at pictures of it now on the web. That is quite a memorial. That's impressive.
It is. You have the east and the west wall, and all the beautiful architecture and everything there. It's breathtaking. And then when you come back there for the Police Unity Tour, essentially kicks off National Police Week, and the further you get into Police Week, the more those walls light up with memorial items, notes from the children of officers that have been killed in the line of duty, their coworkers, their spouses, and it's actually heart-wrenching to walk the walls at the memorial and seeing all that.
Yeah. Nate, for somebody that maybe can't make it out today to Papa's, is there a way that if they want to donate and help you in the cause and help you continue what you're doing, is there a way that they can do that?
Absolutely. They can just send us an email at our Gmail account, and they can get in contact with us there. They can also send any donations they'd like to 300 Country Club at the Eugene Police Department, just attention Police Unity Tour, and it'll get to us.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck today out there at Papa's, and it's the Coburg location.
It is the Coburg Road location.
John, hopefully you feel a giant radio hug from everybody out there, all our 15, and the people of Eugene Springfield on this Friday.
Thank you. I do. This the Police Unity Tour and the bicycle thing reminds me of one of the last times that I had with Chris. He decided that he wanted to start riding a bicycle, and you may recall that Chris is not slim. And anyway, we went to REI where he was trying on these tight, short bike pants.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And followed by Thai food.
That's
the
Chris.
pants hurts. Let's go out and get something to eat. Yeah, good thinking.
That's awesome. Great way to leave it. John Kilcall and Nate Pieski, thank you both. Of course, Nate with the Police Unity Tour team here locally that's going to be going there. If you can go there, as in Papa's today, that would be amazing. All right, hang in there, everybody. We'll see you Monday, 6:05, right here on 1120 KPNW.
If you're in the mood for seafood, anchor up up at Sherry's Cafe and Pies. Our wild Alaskan bounty includes the seafood dishes you've been craving, like our healthy cedar-planked Alaskan salmon served up on a Caesar salad, or our blackened salmon BLT, or a steaming bowl of smoked salmon chowder, and of course, our Alaskan amber beer battered fish and chips. Catch your limit at Sherry's Cafe and Pies. Hook, line, and sinker.
We're all part of your community.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe. So protect your every day.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Poaching is a major threat to our country's wildlife populations, but it's just one of the risks animals face. The best way to protect wildlife is to protect the land on which they live. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust works with private landowners to protect wildlife by preserving natural habitats and establishing permanent sanctuaries. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust to save your land, call 1-800-729-SAVE or visit wildlifelandtrust.org.
It never rains when the wake-up call takes to the air. News Radio 1120
Fox
KPNW.
News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW Eugene Springfield.
This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Lisa Brady. A mass killer may be on the loose in southern Ohio, where multiple bodies have been found. Fox Radio's Steve Taylor following this live.
The Ohio Attorney General's office says investigators were called to a location near the town of Peebles, 85 miles south of Columbus and 80 miles east of Cincinnati. Local Fox affiliates say a house there is one of 3 crime scenes and that at least 7 members of a family are dead, some of them children. There have been no identifications of those killed and no shooter or shooters named. Also, no arrests so far. Some schools in the area have been locked down. Lisa.
Thanks, Steve. President Obama just wrapping up a meeting with British Prime Minister David Cameron at 10 Downing Street, and they're set to begin a joint news conference. Earlier, he had lunch with Queen Elizabeth to celebrate her 90th birthday, and the President and First Lady will have dinner with Princes Harry and William and Duchess Kate. A record number of countries are signing a landmark agreement to fight climate change. Fox Radio's Jared Halpern live in Washington.
The leaders from 171 countries are marking Earth Day, signing the Paris Agreement, an international pledge to reduce carbon emissions and decrease the rise of global temperatures.
The urgency of this challenge is only becoming more pronounced, and that is why our gathering today is, in fact, historic.
Secretary of State John Kerry says the U.S. will formally join the agreement later this year. Actual ratification could take months for many of the countries signing the climate change initiative, each setting benchmarks for emission reductions over the next decade and beyond. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. As part of the nuclear deal with Iran, the U.S. is buying tons of nuclear material from Iran. Heavy water, which isn't radioactive but could have been used to produce weapons-grade plutonium. Instead, the U.S. plans to use it for research or medical needs. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, or smoking. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. If lines are busy, try again. Dial 1-800-663-1592. That's 1-800-663-1592. 1-800-663-1592.
The Fox News Radio that meets the ear. Go behind the headlines and join the conversation on the hottest stories of the day on the Fox News Radio Facebook page. Be a part of the Fox News Radio Facebook fan community. Post comment and tell us your opinions. See behind-the-scenes photos and videos and post your reactions to the stories that matter to you. Click the like button on Facebook and connect with breaking news and features like Fox in the Fast Lane, House Call for Help, and more. Go to Facebook.com/Fox News.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Deb Carson.
How about a no-hitter in Cincinnati?
And the 2-2. A fly ball. Shallow right. Playable. Zobrist is there. Coming in is Hayward. No-hitter for Arrieta. Jake Arrieta pitches a no-hitter here at the Great American Ballpark.
And the Cubs blank and spank the Reds 16-0 on the Cubs radio network. Meanwhile, the Rockets got the win last night, 97-96 over the Warriors. James Harden hit Houston's go-ahead shot with less than 3 seconds on the clock. Golden State had an opportunity, but Draymond Green dribbled the ball off his foot. Rockets again with the win. Warriors still lead the series 2-1. Thunder won on the road at Dallas 131-102. Oklahoma City leads the Mavericks 2-1. Also a 2-1 series lead for Toronto over Indiana. The Raptors beat the Pacers 101.
It's radio you can watch. The Wake Up Call with live video streaming from the Widmer Brothers studio every weekday morning from 6 a.m. to 9. Go to KPNW.com and click on the Wake Up Call streaming banner. The Wake Up Call and Widmer Brothers, the local guys.
When the sun comes out, the critters are up and moving. SM Gun Shop wants you to be ready. Get a head start on varmint season with huge savings on Black Hills 223 plus special wall-to-wall pricing. It's only at SM Gun Shop on River Road in Eugene, Lane County's most established gun store.
Listen to In the Garden with Mike Darcy this Saturday, 9 to noon, for gardening tips that'll help make your garden bloom. Listen to the experts or call in with your own questions. Sponsored by Plant Fashions Plus, superior plants grown by gardeners for gardeners on Jasper Road in Springfield.
How would you like to make up to $20,000 a month flipping houses with no risk? Hi, my name is Nick Vertucci, and over the last 2 years, my elite team of house flippers have flipped over 800 properties by using my 3-step flipping system that guarantees quick profits. And this year, we plan to double it. I'm growing my team in your area, and I'm looking for help. I have more cash available than deals right now, so I need you. All interested candidates, call now and take an inside peek of my flipping system. I'll rush you out a free copy of my Fortunes and Flipping CD kit that will show you how easy it is to get in, get out, and get paid immediately flipping houses if you come join my team.
Call 1-800-449-3149 now to get your free flipping kit. Call 800-449-3149 and you'll also get free tickets to a training workshop. That includes a free meal, a smartphone watch, and a USB flash drive loaded with Nick's powerful information as free gifts just for attending. Call 800-449-3149. That's 800-449-3149. Call now.
News, information, 24/7 on News Radio 1120 KPNW. It's 9:06 and time for Rush. Rush Limbaugh on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
And now, filling in for Rush Limbaugh, he's the host of the Buck Sexton Show on The Blaze, a CNN commentator and former CIA analyst. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Buck Sexton.
Buck Sexton here in for Rush Limbaugh today. Thank you so much for joining. Open Line Friday commences, of course. Very much like to hear from you as well. Do give a ring when you get the chance. In case you haven't already heard it, and I'm guessing that many of you haven't because you probably don't care, and if somebody said it to you, you'd give them a strange look. Happy Earth Day, everyone. Happy Earth Day. Yeah. Celebrating the Earth and all that it is and all that it could be. Yeah, I mean, if there was ever a day to break out your Birkenstocks from the 90s, today is the day. But do you wear socks with them or not? That's the real question. That's what's really tough to decipher. So it is Earth Day. The first Earth Day, I believe, was 1970. This stuff all started out as kind of part of the early hippie environmentalist movement stuff with teach-ins, and go back and look at the history of what happened with DDT and the hysteria that banned that. We still now have malaria in a lot of parts of the world where it could have been eradicated, but it was, some people were worried about the fish and the birds and the pink paradise, which apparently put up a parking lot. And so we had to take all these steps that now, in retrospect, especially with people seeing that not only do you have to worry about malaria, but there's Zika virus and other things, that Earth Day has been politicized from the very, very beginning. But in case you didn't think it was politicized enough, today is a day that the Obama administration is using to put one of its big legacy items up on the bulletin board. President Obama is signing today at the United Nations, rather. You have world leaders who have gathered to put into effect the Paris Agreement. And you've had, at least according to CBS, 171 world leaders gathered at the UN to sign a sweeping climate agreement that was negotiated last year. You remember this. While the world that pays attention to what really matters was much more focused on a recent major terrorist attack, the Obama administration decided to go over to Paris and negotiate this deal on climate, the Paris Agreement in Le Bourget, France. Because, I mean, if you're going to go to sit around and talk about how we want to prevent the world from getting 1 degree warmer in 100 years, not an exaggeration, by the way, or I think it might be 2 degrees Celsius, something like that, in 100 years. They're projecting out that far. These are the fears that drive these people. As I'm fond of saying, climate change is a religious belief for people who think they're too intelligent for religious belief, right? It's a form of social signaling. It's a way of telling people how smart, how evolved, how progressive you are. It's like walking around with a big T-shirt that says, I recycle, and then hopping in your Prius, which, as they do more and more studies on, they find not as good for creating those batteries in the Prius, not really as good for the environment as the environmentalists, I think, would have hoped. But back to the Paris Agreement. This is interesting and very annoying on a number of levels. Of course, Earth Day, the symbolism, brah. It's Earth Day. Yeah, man, sign it. Sign that climate change agreement. This is supposed to be the culmination of all those efforts from all these countries. By the way, the countries, this is fascinating. This is the way I want all of my deals to go from now on, whether professional or if I'm signing a lease on a home or something, or a lease on an apartment. I want it to be self-imposed and self-regulating. So, I mean, it's like, well, what do you think you should pay, Buck? Let's go half the market rate. What do you think about that? That's all I can do right now, half market rate. Okay, but, I suppose that's what you say the market will bear in this case. And then if I don't pay for a few months, instead of the landlord coming up to me and saying, hey, you owe me the rent that you already knew. Remember, a rent that I set for myself. That's how these climate goals work in this agreement that President Obama is signing, or that President Obama has signed. And it's self-imposed and also self-regulating. It's a great way to have a deal. So you decide what the benchmarks are, and you get to tell other people, or you get to determine whether you're meeting them or not. But this is supposed to be awesome. This is supposed to be really, really exciting stuff. So the Paris Agreement goes into effect today. It is on Earth Day. I know you're all super stoked about it. Stoked! And this is going to hopefully prevent it is they prevent an increase in global mean temperature. I'm reading this off of CBS right now, of more than 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 2 degrees Celsius. So 100 years from now, it might be 2 degrees Celsius warmer if we don't act right now on Earth Day for climate change. And President Obama is treating this as though it's a huge victory. Now, let me just say, even if you were to believe in all the climate change hysteria that's out there, and hashtag science, right? I think all of us are sick of people saying, what, are you a scientist? And then you respond, well, are you a scientist? And, no, I think, Bill Nye is a mechanical engineer by trade. But yeah, sure, climatology, mechanical engineering. I'm not a scientist, so I can't tell the difference, right? Though that's the same thing. It's, hashtag science. Even in, 1947, I think, Orwell in his essay on politics in the English language talked about the words that are much abused, things like, of course, progressive, equality. Nothing's really changed in that regard. But science was one of them. Because you can't argue with science, bro. And then you say, okay, maybe I can argue with it. What are the numbers? Show me the data. You go, what do you mean you want to see the data? Just all the scientists, 90% of them think this. And you go, well, consensus isn't actually science. Einstein didn't think consensus was science. He was